You break it down so we can understand. Get all the G done, no clap.
Another word is for the spirits from the over.
Yo, this is KRS-One. My man, the ghettoologist, Dr. X, keeps it real. You better listen.
Was to put on your blazer, it put over cover. In school I did play.
You should be representing the roadies right about now. You're locked into the ghettoologist. And Doctor X, you know that you're big.
I got a degree, but my but I got love for ghetto.
Big up Doctah X, you're the big man. Break it down so we can understand. Get all the G done, no clap.
Yo, this is KRS-One. My man, the ghettoologist, Dr. X, keeps it real. You better listen.
Don't listen. Doctah X, you are the big man. Big up Doctah X. You are the big man.
Do it for the loves, man, don't do it for the life. Do it for the love, 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 love. Oh. Do it for the love of men, don't do it for the lights, lights. Do it for the love of men, don't do it for the lights, lights, lights. Oh. Do it for the love, man, don't do it for the lights. Do it for the love, man, don't do it for the lights. Do it for the love, and I do it for the light. Oh, 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 oh. Do it for the love, man, I do it for the lights. Do it for the love, man, I do it for the lights. Yes, Dr. X, I'm good, bro, I'm good. Like, what's going on? Yes, sorry about that again. You know, you wouldn't believe this is like this show's bloody jinxed. No matter what time we get here, something else comes up. You know, car trouble, entrance trouble. I can't even begin to tell you. You know what I'm saying? So it's no point telling you really. It's like it's got some kind of jinx on my show and something. They're trying to stop me. But regardless of that, I'm still here. So you wouldn't believe what we had to go through, and I'm saying we preferably because it was us. But the number is the text number. We ain't got text number today, have we? Huh? All right. So the call numbers is 07440 370 200. That's 07440 370 200. 07440 370 200. Yeah? And that'll get you logged on to me. Just tell me, you know, if you're out there. I know I'm late as usual, and I'm telling you this is definitely, I was on time, but a whole load of other stuff came up. So I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's still trying to stop my flow, nigga. But I'm here. So as long as you're tuned in and tuned on, I would appreciate a little call or something just to tell me that you're out there and you bothered to stay logged in, even though you couldn't hear me. So, you know, big up to those of you who are logged on, because, you know, from what I'm saying, I'm logged on and you haven't had a contrary text or contrary information. I was just about to put up, you know, that we're not in the studio when we got saved. So I'm here. I could have called it a day and said nah, but everybody says to me, don't matter, still coming. So here we go. As I said, 07944. If you're listening, log on. I would appreciate a little one call on that number. You know what I'm saying? And just to get the show started and let me know that even if I've got one listener talking to someone, I can deal with that. You get me? Not a problem.
Here is a story told to the children of Africa.
never told us black is beautiful. They never told us. Oh, black is beautiful. They never told us black is beautiful. They never told us. Yeah. All right, sweet. So here we are today. Again, better late than never. We're talking about, you know what I mean, are you in prison? You know what I'm saying? Are you a human being? Are there chosen amongst us? We've got to get through this fast because, you know, we've got an hour and a bit has gone. So, like, I'm saying, but I don't mind. I might have to push the show. Oh, Dave, you might have to put the show to 3 or something because, bloody hell, as soon as time we're starting. Anyway, where was I? Yeah. No, the first point of order, which is what I was talking about, was what's his name? Caperton. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to address that because it's all about, you know what I mean, us and, you know, I've got Jamaican heritage, so I have to address this. You know what I'm saying? It's I've got to let people know that I still have thoughts around these issues. And I'm saying that the brother should not be involved. I know people saying, oh, they're trying to get him and all that, but the brother should not be involved in these type of allegations, neither at his status or his age. You know what I'm saying? There should be nothing fresh. If anything, it should be like the rest of them, like somebody dug some old stuff up from a long time. It shouldn't be a charge where a man of his caliber within the community be in a position for somebody to say that you raped them. So everybody remember. I remember when they nicked what's his name? I remember when they nicked not Zebra, the other brother, Bujo. And everybody's going, no, he's not, you know, he's lying to my tail and rare. And whoa, brother's not even come back out yet, bro. You know what I'm saying? I remember when they nicked, it's always these people, like the big stars, you know, when they nicked the Bleach Fierce one, the Vibes Cartel, you know what I'm saying? They remember when they nicked him, everybody said, no, I'm a good smiley and you know, but, you know, they nicked him as well. Like, so, you know, and then Jacure, you know what I mean, there's another one. He then went on to get charged for rape. What the hell is going on in Jamaica? You know what I'm saying? It's like, the morality of the country has gone so low and it's been so licky, and so the government has done a lot to damage the credibility of the people then, because it hasn't improved upon anything for the country people then, you know, the people of the country for years. So the behaviour that you're seeing in Jamaica now is based upon the government's inability to control its own populace. You know what I'm saying? Because it's been controlled by an alien populace. And there's no European nation on the world that want black people to come up. There's none. You know what I'm saying? There is no European nation. I'll say that again. There's no European nation on the world. Nation. I'm not talking about your best friend who goes to school and picks up your daughter from nursery and all that, or whatever the case may be. I'm not talking them white people. I'm talking the white people that dominate the planet across Japan, across China, across India, across Australia, across New Zealand, across, you know what I mean? Everywhere where black people are, they've invaded. If they haven't wiped them out like they wiped them out in Russia, and they've wiped out black people across Europe and placed themselves in their place and saying they're Europeans. You know what I'm saying? If they haven't wiped out them, then they're amongst them, and the black people and the dark-skinned people of that continent or that country, they live in shabby. You know what I mean? No. So don't get me vexed or upset, because you know I'm like Hulk. You ain't gonna like me when I don't get green. I've got a green t-shirt on, but I don't get green. But it's like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's wrong with you people, man? Like, you know, there's so much stuff that I talked about in the past, and I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? I've said to you, like, I've been jail bait. I've been, I mean, not for rape or nothing. You know what I mean? For criminal activities and all that. I've had a lifestyle which includes, you know what I'm saying? Respect again. You get what I'm saying? So I understand pressure, and I understand what's the word? I understand pressure, and I understand poor living, and you know what I mean? I understand all these things. You know what I mean? Because I come from it. You know what I'm saying? But when when you're weak enough to make, you know, like there's so many people that have got right now. Black people are living, you know, the majority of poor black people or average earning black people, they're living at a standard which is as my friend would say, awful. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a terrible standard that we're living at now, man, in the ghetto communities, man. Really, really bad. The morality's gone. You know, all the days of, you know, Babylon and rare and standing up for your right, it's all gone. Everybody just wants money. Everybody just wants to live under this rulership of Babylon. You know, remember when Bob Marley sang a song, it went for we've been trodden on the wine press much too long. Rebel. For we've been trodden on the wine press much too long. Rebel. And he goes, Babylon system is the vampire. Yeah. Soaking the blood of the sufferer. Yeah. Teach the people the truth. Tell the people the truth. That was 40 years ago. I'm saying also, I don't know, lots of years. And I'm saying today, nothing. They live in Babylon. They're feeding and feeling Babylon. Jamaica's been overtaken by this Babylonian black white people of America. And black people in America are so like white people, it is unfucking believable. You understand what I'm saying? They have no real roots. The roots is now, I'm an American. How can you have a roots in a country that was born off the blood and the murder of the people that live there? I don't understand how you can relate to that as your roots without having to try and define. I'm not saying I'll be some Kenty cloth wearing black person, but you know, you have to, just like any other, I used to say this years ago as well, I said that you can't just be an African. You have, in order to be appropriate about your Africanity, it's important to get hold of what culture you want to be a part of. South African culture, Nigerian culture, Ghanaian culture, Senegalese culture. It's a vast, vast continent. People in England don't sound like people in, and although the continent ain't connected in terms of Europe, but it's, you know, Britain is a part of Europe. You understand what I'm saying? So, but they speak totally different to the Germans. The Germans speak totally different to the French. The French speak totally different to the Italians. You understand what I'm saying? So when you say if you went to some person and they say you're a European, they'd like to know what type of European are you? What, we're clear that you're a European. We can see you're white, so we know you have Caucasian principles and your principalities, and you are white. So we get that. But what type of European? What language do you speak? You know what I'm saying? So when you're saying you're just African, for years they've been on this same vibe of I'm just African. It's sad. It's really, really sad that that's for you know, over since I can remember, that's all people have ever. They haven't moved on from there. And there is no movement without progress. There's no progress without movement. So how the hell can you have ever hoped to go? The children, I mean, come the fuck on. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. You get what I'm saying? Like, why am I here? You know, the question is, why the hell am I here? You know what I'm saying? As I said before, you know, I've got it down. I was on every week. Sometimes I did 24-hour shows. Sometimes I did 11-hour shows. You know what I'm saying? And it made no difference whatsoever. Just for the few people that still remember me and stop me on the road, why I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? You know, because there is no significant drive to be better. People are just doing what they're doing, and we are, as a people, we are lost, and we're a conquered people that are lost in a penitentiary system, in a prison system. You know what I'm saying? I saw on the internet the other day. I mean, this is stuff that Floyd Mayweather's been. He's putting down money like carpet, bro. Did you see? He's putting down money like carpet, yeah, like in stacks of $1,000, $100 bills. Yeah, so that means like my front room, he could probably put down a stack of 1,000 on every inch of my carpet, and my front room is 13 foot long, but 12 foot wide. You understand? So on every inch of my carpet, he could put down a stack. That's how much money this guy's got. Yet he can't get his son or daughter to be a doctor or a lawyer or nothing. They're going to just live in that same hustler's life with the billions upon grillions upon zenzillions he's got. Now, I'm going to get back to that, but just to stay on the Capleton thing for a minute. So, the country it's just been preaching this fuck gal, fuck pussy, you know, rock out the gal, walk out the gal. You know, every other single that comes out of Jamaica has no sensibilities whatsoever. It's feeding an insane mindset. It's feeding a diabolical mindset. So when the youths them, I'm sure many of you have seen this picture of this youth that come out with this big crocodile Dundee knife. D, did you see that picture of the boy with the big crocodile Dundee knife? Okay, right. So, well, you'd have to see. If you haven't seen it, then you wouldn't know. Some brother, you know, ran into a little boy, probably about 17, 18, something like that, and he kind of pushed him off his bike. The boy jumped off his bike and took out of his waist a long crocodile Dundee knife. You know what that? For those of you who don't know, it's a knife that's about 8 inches long. Yeah, so that means it's about the size of it depends on how tall you are, from your elbow, yeah, to your wrist. Yeah, that's how big the knife was. You know, it's almost like a mini sword, and it had all the teeth marks. You know, the jagged teeth on it. It looked like he wanted to stab this brother. Now, the insanity that runs through a mind like that thinks that this guy nearly ran me over, so now I need to kill him. You know what I'm saying? It's this prison mentality that we now live in. This prison that they call in life for black people. You know, this is freedom for white people. This is prison for black people, poor black people. You know what I'm saying? Poor white people have managed to they've moved out of the black areas and found other areas. And what's happening is that the rich people or the richer people or the more wealthier people are moving into the black areas that we're occupying and then turfing us out with, you know, using their skills and their methodology to turf us out. You know what I'm saying? So we're living like that. Sorry, I've gone off the Capleton. I'll finish the Capleton first. So I'm saying that in Jamaica, you know what I'm saying, this man has been arrested, this high-flying man, you know what I'm saying, has been arrested for rape. You know what I'm saying? He's on a $200,000 Jamaican dollar bail. Like, that's like $500,000 or it's $250,000 in Jamaican dollars worth of bail, I think. You know what I'm saying? Because this man of a great notoriety has put himself in a position in a hotel room with a woman that's not his woman, you know what I'm saying, where he's had sex with her. You know what I mean? I think that alone, at his age, you know what I'm saying, is just not good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, he's a grown ass man. You know what I'm saying? He's a married, grown ass man. I don't know if he's married, but he's obviously got kids and stuff like that. And I don't know how many women he has, but this woman would have obviously added to the collection of women that he's going to pass through as a big man. There's no details about her age or nothing like that, so we don't know about that. But what we do know is that he's now been charged, like in England now, he's now pending the fucking child, what do you call it, list? The sex offenders list, yeah? In England right now, if he was in England, that's what he'd be like, hanging over that list right now, waiting for him to drop down in it. You understand me? I said, because why would you, as a big man up that age and that notoriety, be caught in a hotel or be in a hotel with a woman, you know what I'm saying, who can, you know, because the answer is she was trying to take money from him, but you'd already slept with her, brother. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and according to the information that's come out, they've got texts of him set back and forth of her trying to get money from him, but nobody's heard that point of it. So I'm not interested in that part of it at all. I'm interested in why Buja Banton was at this place trying to get cocaine, why he got out of his house the morning, you know what I'm saying, and went to this place to pick up cocaine. I'm not interested in the fact that he's innocent or he was set up. See, if a man said to me, well, boy, you want to come to this place and I'm going to pick up some cocaine, and I said, I ain't dealing with that. What the fuck am I going with you for? You're man, you're mine. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going. There's no point in me going. You know what I'm saying? So the only reason why Buja Banton's in jail, because it'll be interesting to say what he says when he comes out, whether they're going to be able to ask him the questions around that or what he's going to say. Because what was he doing trying to buy cocaine as a Rasta man? I don't know. Maybe that's this position that this world has put them in. I don't know. Maybe that's a position that we all are in at some point in time, where we're going to do things outside of our borders. But the point I'm making is that, so it doesn't go in line with all the preaching that these people are doing. You know what I'm saying? After the fact now, he's telling the world how much he loves women and this, that, and respect for women and this, that, and the other. But with that respect for woman, you screeching a woman in a hotel room, you know what I'm saying, to do your hair on a little low key situation, you know what I'm saying, low key trying to grind her, you know what I'm saying, and then you have sex with her, and then she tries to take money. So you know, what position are you in, Capleton, where a woman can be able to ask you for money after you sexed her? You know what I'm saying? Whether or not you know, it was rape or whatever it was, but how are you even in that position in a hotel room? Because everybody's going to ask, you know, a policeman's going to ask, so what are you doing in the hotel room, brother? And you got a bag of woman. You know what I'm saying? 2, she's going to fix up your hair. So why couldn't you do it in a more public place? Why would you have to be in a hotel room, which means you have to rent the room for this particular purpose? Why don't you just do it in the hairdressers? Oh, did you need privacy? Why don't you do it in your house? You know what I'm saying? Why don't you come to your house where you live and do it? I don't understand. Why? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? These are questions. I'm not saying there is no reasons for this. I'm just saying these are questions that need to be asked. You know what I'm saying? So if you understand it from that position, then you're saying, hold on a minute, brother. How did you end up in that position with a girl? So I'm not blaming them. I'm not saying it's right or the woman. Because what happens is that because someone's of a notable standing, in terms of, he's a singer and he's a good guy and he helped the youth and all this kind of stuff, does that mean he cannot rape a chick? Does that mean that? You know what I'm saying? Does any woman come out and said he's not rough sexually, or, you know what I mean, he would never do that? I don't know about that. I think that would be a good judge of character if some woman said, no, he's too gentle to do that. You know what I'm saying? To force sex on the chick or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just dealing with this for the moment. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get onto the other subjects, but I'm just saying that, you know, we've got, you know, Jamaica's turned into a hellhole. It's losing its whole whatever it stood for, and I think that the people that are breaking Jamaica down to weaken the black community worldwide, they're doing a good job all over the world. I think sooner or later we'll just be hoovered up in this whole system, and we just might as well just be white and done. You know what I'm saying? Because we're losing our fucking way. You know what I'm saying? We're absolutely, the men them are still doing this. Look, you know, 20 years ago, 16 years ago, I was on this show saying the same thing, that this baby mother, baby father syndrome is one of the most ridiculous slave-like syndromes that's ever to walk in the face of the black community. You understand what I'm saying? Because you've got men with 23 children in Africa who live in the same yard or live in the same place. Britain and Europe is not designed for one man to have 16 baby mothers. It's not designed that way. You need to have some self-control, brother. You know what I'm saying? You're a waste. A lot of these guys are waste. That's why the children are waste. And you know, it's very difficult to say to a human being you're a waste. But I'm saying when you want to draw a, you know, I mean, like a 10-inch knife to kill a man because he bumped you off your bike, you're a waste. You know what I'm saying? There's something in your mind that's so full of rage that you're only going to ever cause destruction. And guaranteed, that guy hasn't got no dad. How do I know guaranteed? That's what I'm saying to you. Because this is a system that they're building, and at the same time they're building that system, they're telling you that there's no gender, there's no sex. You're becoming Babylonian, bro. And you know, I got black men arguing me about all this gender thing. I said, what the fuck? I don't want to have that argument with you, brother. If you're on that trip, go over there with it, bro. Like, because you want to be like them. I don't want to be like them. That's like a fish wanting to be like a fucking crab. You know what I'm saying? One's a crustacean, one's a fish. You know what I'm saying? One can swim with skill, and the other one crawl at the bottom of the bloody sea eating fuckery. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand how they're the same species. We're not the same species as the white people. All you people that are mixing up, you know what I'm saying, with whatever you fucking, I don't give a shit what anybody thinks about mixed race people. I don't have nothing against them. I've got mixed race people who are friends. I've got friends who got friends and mixed race people. I've got friends who got children of mixed race. I know, you know what I mean? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the mixing of the races that's creating this diabolical situation where, you know, as I've jumped off the Capleton thing now, because that's rinse. You know what I'm saying? I've already said my bit about that. But you know how I do, if you listen to me, shit comes into my head and I just go off on it. You know what I'm saying? This brother, yeah, I mean, you know, the mixed race situation, you know what I'm saying? Some of them are black, you know what I mean? Why is it, you know, you're stupid enough to think, because most people that talk about dominant, somebody told them they're off the top of their head. They've never looked into Mendelian theories or any of the theories that talk about why Europeans have this theory of dominant gene. But they just say, oh, like, because I've did a show and I've done it in front of hundreds of people. I've spoken in front of and argued, debated in front of hundreds of people, and they voted on it. And all they knew is that black is dominant. They don't know nothing else. You know what I'm saying? And they need to be educated about what genes are. And the reason why you're losing yourself, you know what I'm saying, right now, is because you think everywhere across. You don't know how to hold on to your own genes. You know what I'm saying? You want to do. You got like what I call the Terminator gene. That somehow they've managed to ignite a Terminator gene in you through schooling. That all you want to ever do is be with a white girl, or you want to look at white and light skinned people as a better class or better race of people. And then an in between race, like the Belgian mixed race that in between, the Brazilian that you're looking at, that beautiful Brazilian girl, she's in between, she's part black, and they've held on to sequences of genes that keep them at that black hair and that brown-eyed level, which comes from being Negro. You understand what I'm saying? Any race of people that you see that have got brown eyes, like the Spanish, or they are Negro people that have mixed in with Caucasians and have maintained that gene pool, just like how you make from a poodle and what is it called again? What did I call it again? A cockadoodle. What's it again? A cocker spaniel and and a poodle. You call it a cockadoodle or some shit. A cockapoodle. You know what I'm saying? A Doberman. You know what I mean? Like you can maintain a breed once you breed in. You know what I'm saying? So that's all that's happening there. Mixed race people tend to just go back with other mixed race people 9 times out of 10. I'm not saying all the time, because Obama was mixed race and he went with black, but his children they look Spanish. They got a Spanish. They ain't got a black. They got a long hair. I don't even know if that hair's nappy or if it's pressed, but they want to look Spanish in their complexion. They don't want to look black, do they? So I'm saying so if somebody's light skinned, so it doesn't mean that they're not black. It doesn't mean that they haven't got black traits. What it means is that clearly, absolutely without a shadow of a doubt, you're mixed in with something. So a Brazilian light-skinned person that you're calling a Brazilian is actually a Caucasian and an African mix, or a Caucasian and a Negro mix. You understand? A Portuguese light-skinned person that you see and they call themselves Portuguese are a mix. The Italian dark-skinned who have got brown eyes and black hair continuously, they are a Negro and a Caucasian, or one type of the earlier Caucasian version mix. You understand? The Chinese people that you see have got white skin, yeah, they are actually Caucasian. You know what I'm saying? If you see you won't see any Chinese people in Britain who are brown. The only Chinese like people you might see is Vietnamese or Philippine, yeah, who are brown skinned. But the Chinese have totally been the original continent of brown people is now totally occupied by the dominance of white skinned people. So the people you see in England are white-skinned Chinese. You know what I mean? You cannot be white-skinned without being Caucasian. So I don't know where you're not getting their Chinese from. They're European Chinese. You know what I'm saying? That's why they have the same types of traits as European. That's why they hate us as much as European do. The same with the Indians. The light-skinned Indian is part Caucasian. You know what I'm saying? All that hybrid and all that little situation they have over the lighter skin, which they use and abuse us, you know what I'm saying, in terms of our systems. You know what I mean? Every person that's tried to raise black people up has been locked up by white people, from all the way from 100 years ago, from Marcus Garvey all the way up. If you try to help black people, they're going to find a way to lock you up, because they are a cruel race. They are cruel and vindictive. They will not allow you to go. All of this, your next best friend and all that bollocks, you know what I'm saying, and your mum or your whoever, that they're cool people. I'm not talking about that, because that's the only thing you got. Because white people are very good at separation. They're a separatist race. They like to separate so they can attack. They're an elitist and slaver race. They enslave races when they go to their countries. Any race where dark-skinned people are anywhere on the planet are now in poverty, are now in a terrible turmoil of a situation of starvation or something. Anytime white people visit your country, your country's doomed. They never bring any upliftment except for themselves. If they go to Africa, South Africa, the only people that enjoy South African living is white people, Dutch people. You know what I'm saying? You go to Australia, the only people that enjoy the living of Australia is white people, British people. You understand? If you go to New Zealand, the only people, you know what I'm saying, the only people that enjoy that is the white people, the light-skinned people. You know what I'm saying? Anywhere white people go on the planet where dark-skinned people are, when they leave, or when they take over, dark-skinned people are in poverty and trashed out. Not in, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they're living in a trashy, alcoholic, downtrodden, shitty living standard. They end up, anytime white people mix amongst them, you know what I'm saying? Just like in England right now, you know what I'm saying? they come into your communities, and as soon as they come into the communities with their money, you've got to move out. There's not they're willing to share shit, but they all pretend. They're the greatest pretenders on this planet. And you need to know and understand how the rhythms of white people, to know how you're being fucked every single day across the planet. Because everybody's on their own individual thing, and then some people want to argue for argue's sake because they don't want to believe that white people are cruel. So what white people do on the internet, on Facebook, is separate themselves. Oh, that's racist. Bro, you're the ones who set the standard for racism. How can you then say something is racist and you haven't evened out the playing field yet? You can't set the standard for racism if you haven't evened out the playing field. You get what I'm saying? Like, if everybody's equal, if Africa, or you didn't destroy Libya and you didn't murder fucking Gaddafi because you just didn't like his policies, this guy never did anything. Nothing worse than what Obama did. Nothing worse, but they have nothing worse than what Bush did. Nothing worse than didn't do nothing worse than what any of them did. But yet they fought the need to murder him because he wanted to unite Africa. He wanted to create this situation. These are the situations that was known. And then because Europeans across the globe control every media outlet, every single one, these ones that exist like this now, they attack. You understand what I'm saying? They attack and they want to shut down. You cannot exist under their rule to free yourself. They want freedom at only their cost. Bruv. They only exist at their own cost. You know what I'm saying? They're not interested in your freedom at all whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? And every time you do something, there's someone on the internet. This is why they're trying to shut down the internet now and tell about you can't say this and you can't say that. Because anything to do with questioning their authority and their wickedness of their authority, they're not going to like. You know what I'm saying? They don't like that. They want to shut you down. You know what I'm saying? So they can control the narrative. Yeah, that means that they want to control the storyline. They want to make sure that whatever you think is what they're telling you to think. That's why they're spraying the air with all these chemicals that mess up your brain, and after you reach about 20, 25, 26, you can't remember shit. And thinking that nothing to do with age, it's to do with how they're poisoning the air. They're poisoning the communities. It's nothing to do with age. I mean, nobody just wakes up at 26 and starts to become forgetful across the fucking entire spectrum of people. It doesn't work like that. I'm saying why would you need to have places where they're working on gene specific diseases? That shouldn't even exist. But you have no idea. Most black people have no idea of the type of turmoil they're living under. They have no idea of the type of people that they're living with, because these people are smiling. They've been smiling for thousands of years, and look at the state of black people now. What do you think? Is just now they start to smile? Do you think it's just now they start to say good morning? You think it's just now from the preacher man came to Africa? They've been saying good morning. You know what I'm saying? And a good morning for them is a seriously bad morning for you. I can tell you that. But every white person that you speak to, who has an investment in working or living amongst blacks, has an excuse for why they're not like that, so you can't blame them. And it's true, you can't blame individual white people. It's the race of white people that you look upon. It's the government of white people that you look upon. It's the authority of white people that you look upon, not the individual. So, you know what I'm saying? The individual always wants to argue on the internet or wherever, because you can't really get them in person. Only the internet has given a lot of them and a lot of the white sympathizers who are black voice. That's the only place they can even excuse their behavior. I'm saying somebody's arguing about choice, you know what I'm saying, whether people have choice or not. And I'm saying that mixed race people, you know what I'm saying, because there's a woman on the internet she's got green eyes. Now green eyes is a mixture of brown eyes and blue eyes, so you know that she's mixed. You know what I'm saying? Stop mixing up the different that like everybody's black. You know what I'm saying? Every time I come to the stage of talking about stuff, because of my notoriety and my rebellion, you know what I'm saying, I'm not the person that you're going to listen to. Because why? Because I'm not going to tell you what you think is palatable for you to hear, what your Christianity values are going to allow you to absorb. I'm going to tell you what the real truth is. And if you can say the mixture of brown eyes and blue eyes doesn't end up with green eyes, then you can talk to me. Then you can actually tell me about it. But if you're going to just argue some emotional argument for the fact that I'm saying that clearly shows that that person's mixed. Or that clearly shows that that person's generation has mixed, and the mixture is still evident. You know what I'm saying? Because most of us have been, remember we used to talk about back in the day about we being raped and all that. Nobody talks about that anymore. Because there's so much voluntary going with white people now that nobody even thinks they was raped. You know what I'm saying? Like this is life for real. They've robbed us so much of our heritage that the Australians, the Europeans in Australia calling themselves Australians, don't want the real Australians to learn about their history in school. Because the history that they need to learn about will show how disgusting white people can be when they want something, or the white race has been over the last 1,000 years. You know what I mean? Do not get complacent about the people that you're living with. They're out to destroy you. There's no two ways about that. There's nothing good about what they're doing, and this is why they're out to stop people speaking now, because the more evident it becomes is the more they need to shut down speeches, and then what they do is they try to emotionalize it and make it sound like really deep, like, oh, you're a racist, or you're a hater, or you're promoting hate crime. You know, this is what they do. They find a way for you to volunteer to shut down your own rights. That's what they do. So when they shut down your right to say, yeah, it's because it's hate, and yeah, because that's what they want. They want to be safe. Europeans across the globe. Remember, you have to remember. I think it's important to remember that every country on most of the countries where white people exist as a power was once run or owned or lived in by black people. So we have to be clear that there's a nation, as a nation and as a race, they are destroyers of brown people. Chris Rock once said that, you know what I mean, like, and another comedian said it, because remember, in their system, because the only way you can get to say something at one point was through comedy. You know what I'm saying? This is the only way, you know, Getawology is not about comedy, but there is a, you know, you hear me laugh and all that, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to promote something using a whole different aspects of viewpoints and sceneries and rare, like a reporter, and I've called it Getawology. You know what I'm saying? It's not my own personal makeup of a name or whatever the case may be. But I heard the name and I thought it's a great name. I didn't use it because I heard it. I thought what I thought about and what I was trying to do matched. And then there's also a reggae song, because I come from a reggae background. I don't come from a hip hop background, or I come from a reggae background. So I have that Jamaican rare in my blood. You know what I'm saying? It's not. It doesn't mean it's a good rare. It's just what I've got. You get what I'm saying? And so. My view is that like Marcus Garvey, not like I am like Marcus Garvey, having a viewpoint on the rest of the world. I mean, his effect and my effect on people is nil compared to what the effect he had on people. And yet, with that effect, yeah, the Europeans managed to take him down. They managed everybody that's ever. How is that possible? You dummy! I mean, we're dummies. How is it possible that every single so what as soon as they hear this now, they're gonna their little think tank's gonna work, and they're gonna have to promote a black guy that they think works, but it's gonna be the same, because it's gonna be a vast difference to a true freedom thinker and one who's working for their secret services. Because there's a lot of Trojans, there's a lot of people working for their secret services. Plus the ghetto drug system is run by informers. The police have put certain. In America, they got certain gangs and certain people in the gangs on retainers. I mean, they show you on their programs. It's not something hidden. It's not something that they hide. It's that nobody is an informer according to informers. You know what I'm saying? According to gangs, nobody's an informer. Yet every time they want to find something else, they need to pull in one of their quote unquote snitches. Plus, amongst us in the newscasting, in the media industry, in the journalism, they got the white-minded journalists who they use as a prop to support that, black people are fine in our country. You know what I'm saying? In radio, they got the white-minded journalists. The two greatest, and I said this for years, the two greatest DJs in this country on black music are two white men. I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, we are so ridiculously backward in our coming forward that we don't even see that, you know what I mean? That's just, that don't even make sense. You know what I mean? The two biggest white men in the two biggest industries for black people are two white men. One is an ex-vicar boy, you know what I'm saying, the son of a guy who never grew up on the street, never just took an opportunity to pretend to talk like he was from the street and acted, because what black people are learning is to be like, and it's to act. That's why Hollywood is like a shrine. This is why I use the term, you're just Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? It's like a shrine for the behavior and the fakiness of behavior. You can see, if you watch any movie, you can see how they learn to pretend that they're human. You understand what I'm saying? It's Hollywood they use. So all the Hollywood people them, and all the people them that who are not watching the TV, you know what I'm saying, are not aware of the pretense of this nation that calling themselves European. They act. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy, you know, you don't know who's acting because they're trying to pretend that they're genuine all the time. And the only thing that they're genuine about is the destruction of black people. And because they're actors, you're not going to know that. But everybody, you know, all these big time speakers and singers talk about actions speak louder than words and all that. And I'm saying, what action is it that you see of the global white person that you don't recognize that they're trying to destroy it? They're trying to wipe black people and humanity off the earth, because humanity is black. There is no white humanity. White people are in humanity, but they're inhumane. And inhumane means non-human. Look it up. You understand what I'm saying? Google it as the 21st century. I remember on the first show of 2000, I played a song by Nas. You know what I'm saying? And he's saying it's a new day, a new day. And I said to you, now you're gonna see. I remember that show, and I wish I could find it in my archives. The first day of the year 2000, I did a show, and I played that tune a couple of times. I think I played it. I said, now you're gonna see why I really go on. We're in the 20, and I used to, and my slogan was, I'm the 21st, because back then people were more backward back then than they even are now. Or no, so they were less backward. They're more backward now than they were then, and they were backward then. They were backward and they were slow coming forward back then. So so, and they're even worse backward now. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just telling you what the 21st century. This is 100 years. So we're only 18 years into the 21st century, and by the year 2099, yeah, you're gonna see black people are gonna be on their face in the ghettos, yeah, and the only black people you're gonna see is mixed race people that are calling themselves black because they can escape that. In Africa, you're gonna see a new breed of mixed race, and they're gonna be Chinese and African mix. You understand what I'm saying? And that'll be the new mixed race. Remember, it's a Caucasian mixed race because Chinese are basically Caucasians. You know what I'm saying? They're not. The Chinese in China are not Chinese people. The ones at the lowest level, some of them might be brown skinned, but the highest level Chinese, and they're Caucasian Chinese. They're not the real Chinese. They're the implant, like the Caucasian Jews. Remember remember this, and tell your friends and everybody this. Every nation on the earth has been supplanted with white people calling themselves the nation that they never was. Yeah, the Jews now are white people faking out a religion, and if they hear you say that, they're gonna come for you. See what them do to Michael Jackson? They ain't after him. They don't want to hear the truth. They're imposters. They're all Europeans. They're all from that Caucasian race who have come to the planet from wherever they've come from to mash up the planet and destroy humanity. What you're living for is money, and money's going to destroy you. All these guys talking about get fuck y'all, you know what I'm saying, and get money. That's the only thing I'm hearing. So basically they're destroying their own race, and the guys them, if you're telling a guy who's 16 or 17 to fuck y'all and get money, that means he could have 6 or 7 baby mothers. So the spiral of insanity doesn't stop. So the next generation is coming up the same. And I was saying back then as well, like, which I'm still saying now, the people to be blamed for the children now are the adults of then. So the worklessness is just continuing. It's not like, oh, look at the youths. It's like, look at the type of parents these fucking guys have had. That's what you should be doing. But you live in a system that is a prison system. It's a penitentiary system, so it doesn't care about that. What it cares about is the product that it gets, because they're a separate race of people. They feed off of you. They feed off your dance. They feed off your music. They feed off of your athleticism. All the people that are making the most money, as much money as more Floyd Mayweather, whoever puts on the floor, he's not making as much money as the people making money for him to make money. You understand what I'm saying? And they're not putting it on the floor because this guy's got a poor mind. The reason why Floyd Mayweather can do that is because his mind is not evolved. His skill to get money is unequivocal. It's top notch. You know what I'm saying? But so is Birdman, who's also has got money. But none of these people have got no brains. None of these people's children are in anybody that to create a greater race. They all end up being hustlers because the environment and the DNA they come from, they don't know no better. Money doesn't change your mind. Money can't change your DNA. Not yet, anyway. You know what I'm saying? So you will have all this money, but you won't have no fucking. I've done this so many times. If you give a 7-year-old money, you know what I mean, £1 million, it won't know what to buy. An adult will have to tell it what to buy, or it'll end up buying 1,000 million bubblegum or 1,000 million computer games. You understand what I'm saying? It has no knowledge of how to make itself a better human being, because it's not retarded. It's at the right age. It's at 7. It's only been on the earth 7 years. It knows nothing. So these guys who have been on the world, you know, in their 40s and whatever, chasing their 50s or whatever, late 30s or middle 20s, they don't know much. You know what I'm saying? Because they haven't learned much. But they've known how. You see, if you have to go into a room and look at a screen and you can get £200 an hour, and you do that for, for 10 years, what the fuck have you learned about life and people and other events of life when you spend, you're a millionaire now, but what do you know? You don't know shit. You just got the money to buy a hotel because you know what hotels are, all these things that is on the telly. You don't know nothing about nothing, because all you've ever been doing is looking at a screen and people running up and down on the road. So anything to do with that screen is all you're going to ever know. These people are not advancing themselves as people. So that's how Capleton ends up in the situation he ends up in. He'll talk all this talk because this talk gets him money, but the behaviour doesn't match. Because the same with Buja Banton, you talk all this talk and they say, oh, they set him up. How do you get set up to do this? It's like a man said, they fuck that boy named Butty. You know what I'm saying? How do you get set up to fuck someone in their bottom if it's not what you do? You understand what I'm saying? If you don't take coke and you're not about coke, how does someone... So it's different if they'd have said, you've got to buy 10 toes and weight of weed. You understand what I'm saying? You could say, oh, you see how they fucked him up? You know what I'm saying? He went to buy, 10 tons of weed. I would get that. But to buy something that is vehemently against what you are supposed to be for, it's like saying to a Rasta man, how did they catch you with that much bag of pork in your yard, brother? You know what I'm saying? It's like saying to a Muslim, how did they catch you with so much pork? It's like contrary to what you're supposed to be. So that's where the problem lies, not with the fact that you're that. It's the contrariness, and the double standard, which is a European-induced reptilian trait, which is a forked tongue. This is why the Indians knew what they were talking about when you relate draconia, you know what I'm saying, and reptile and all that to forked tongue, because the snake has 2 tips to his tongue. You understand what I'm saying? And he acts, and they represent the snake as a lowly, belly-rubbing, belly-lying-on character that will do any fucking thing to fuck you up. You know what I'm saying? So, what is it? What is it that you're not recognizing? You know what I'm saying? As a people. What is it you want me to say? As a human being. It doesn't matter whether, you can be with, it doesn't mean you can't work with them and share a joke and, all right, mate, yeah, you all right, straight, yeah, lovely. That's got nothing to do with your humanity. You know what I'm saying? Humanity is black. Humanity, there is nothing but black in this planet. Human beings, all the originate, we don't come from, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like ridiculous. It says in the so-called Bible that they have an original word that we came from the dust of the earth. It says, in their own Bible, it says, dust you are and dust you shall return. So clearly you were made from dust. And dust, which is earth, is black or brown. There is no white earth. There is no beige earth, except sand, which is not really a soil. It has to be mixed with something else to be a soil. So the other one, the clearest one you're going to get is that kind of greyish. So like, maybe they're the greys. You know what I mean? It's a grey soil. But other than that, there's only 2 types of soil. Red, I mean, not 2. There's a few, but they're all in the colour spectrum. Black, which is the best soil that there is, according to the people that plant shit, according to the farmers and all these people at the earth. The best soil is, and guess what that soil is called? It's called humus. Humus. The top soil, which is black, is called what? Hummus. Close to the word human. So when people are telling you that hue means colour, then maybe it means coloured earth, because that's what the colour of black earth is. You know what I'm saying? This is how I put stuff into the air that's not in the air. Remember, whoever's listening, if it's 10 of you listening, you'll hear it, it'll come back to you and you'll hear it, because people are not going to say that Dr. S said. Remember, this is the date, this is the 3rd of June 1980, and you're not hearing this anywhere else. And this small little guy from this small little corner of Brixton in the world is saying this. You know what I'm saying? Tiny little brother, not almost a non-rarian, not one bag of noise, not one bag of followers, not one bag of likes, nothing. This tiny little guy, and then you hear what I say later on start to echo. But remember, up until now, whoever's listening at this moment now can't phone me and say they've heard what I just said before. Because I'm not, the liberation of my people isn't about making money and ego. That's why I don't do none of this stuff that people do. It's not about ego. You know what I mean? I had to behave in a particular way to get to do a show with somebody else, because I knew ego was going to play a part. You know what I'm saying? The control, the love of your people, or what you want for your people, it withstands that. So it doesn't matter about necessarily. Of course, it matters because you got to eat, and you might look. I grew up in an era where my friends and myself, we were wearing belts made of crocodile skin and lizard skin and ostrich shoes, and we were 16 and 17 wearing them type of stuff. We weren't footballers, you know what I'm saying? We were just basically criminals, you know what I'm saying? All different types of criminals, checkbook and cards, selling weed, all, you know what I'm saying? But we're working beyond the law or below the law, or whatever the case may be. And that's the stuff we was wearing. We were drinking champagne when we were 15, 16, 17. We were drinking champagne. We're not talking, because of crack or because of cocaine or because of hip hop. We're doing it because that's what we was on. We was wearing Italian wear, you know what I'm saying, from when we were teenagers. You know what I'm saying? Like the youths them now. See what I'm saying? That's what we were doing in our age group. You know what I'm saying? Jewelry, we had the chains that they're wearing now after their big money. We were wearing. I know guys that were wearing those types of chains when they were 16 and 17. You know what I'm saying? Right now, them chains to buy now is like $5,000, £5,000, 9, 10, 12. I saw one of the chains that a Cougaran that they sold on that thingy bob some oak for 10 grand. That's what the youths them were wearing when I was a youth. So these big youths were becoming and doing all this hip hop stuff and wearing the same chain, where it was about 6 or 7 grand. We were wearing when we were teenagers, or people of our ilk were wearing. We had people working in the gold industry with the Jews that were stealing gold and bringing it out on road and some of them was making the fool's gold and dipping gold and all kinds of stuff we was a part of. You understand? So I know that life. So youths coming up saying they're roadman and all that, it's just the same. You know what I mean? It's just like everybody wants to be road now. Everybody wants to speak with a slang and all that and say that they're part of this thing, because they don't know themselves well enough. The system doesn't like black people well enough to appreciate black culture. You need to appreciate white culture, so you'll have the dog on your bed and not my bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how you live now. You know what I'm saying? You live like white people and say, well, if white people can do it, we can do it, because you want to be like them. But they're not humans. They're different breed and different race of people. And all the people them that I know that don't like me, and all the people them that don't like what I've got to say and have no real argument, just emotionalize like the boy with the knife. They just jump up and want to kill you because they have no argument. They're frustrated by their living standard. They're frustrated by their whatever standard, and then they use the government to help them to hide that frustration by controlling television and all these other people that are controlling television and radio, so that it suits the narrative that they want to put forward, that they're decent people. You know what I mean? Bob Marley said 40 years ago, you know what I'm saying, rebel, because, you know what I mean, Babylon system is the vampire. They don't care about black people. Black people is human people. They're the original humanity. How can you trust a people that has tortured your people for 400 years? How can you ever trust that group of people? It's just not. You're just not attached to your humanity if you do. You're gone. So much of us are so damaged, like that you that took out the knife. There's such a great deal of damage that's been done to that you don't even know what you're doing. You're smoking modified weed. You're smoking modified poison. You're drinking modified sugar. Even refined sugar was as bad and not so bad. Now you're drinking a chemically induced, something made from the white man you're now eating as a sugar. It's not made from anything earthly. It's a made up material, made out of chemicals, that you're now calling a sugar, that suits the mindset and the palate of a European, but poisons the mindset and the palate of a human being. Fuck all that African shit. We're the human beings of the planet. They had to have a saying back in the day, am I not human and a brother? We had to, on his bended knees, we had to plead with white people to treat us like they are the savages. White people across the globe are the savages. They've savaged every race that's got brown skin across the ages, across the planet. How can we be the same as them? How can we be the savages? Because they now control the pictures and the movies and the internet and the radio and the television and the newspapers. They own it all. Even if you're a black person with a newspaper, or a black person with a TV or a television station, they own that television station and you work for them. What are you talking about? They own everything, so they make you, for all the white people that are murdering and killing their wives and sleeping with their children and all that. That's not making headline news. All that keeps making headline news is what black people are doing to other black people. So that's the narrative that you have in your head. Although the biggest murderers and the biggest child molesters on the planet are white, But as soon as we do something, we're headline news. The people who make the biggest knives are white. The people who make the biggest guns are white. The people who make the mostest guns are white. Everything to do with murdering and killing is run by the white person. Yet all you ever see is black people executing what they've made for us to execute. All the drugs and the machinery to make the mass-produced drugs on the planet is owned by all Europeans. Every single European you can think about on every corner of the globe or every land space on the globe, they own a part of that. And yet we suffer from it, and we're the ones they point at every time we're abusing the drugs in our communities, which some of the time they do a thing called drops, where they drop drugs into the community and somebody finds it and realize how much money, and then they've got so much ways in which they operate that you are not only you're unaware, but you're sleeping. All this woke shit is bollocks, because you're not woke about what you woke about, bruv. Somebody tell me what they hear people are woke about. What, that you're black? Is that how you're still fucking sleepwalking? You're dumb. You ain't even woke yet. Woke? Bruv, you're in a nightmare. You ain't even woke at all. What are you talking about? Woke is you're totally aware of Wagwan. And what I just said, you had like about the humus and the topsoil being black, and that's how it's related to humanity and human. Nobody that while I'm talking has said that, according to people that are listening, because I might have a handful. I don't know how many people are listening. You know what I'm saying? We are the original human beings of the earth. All the dark-skinned people, whether it's me, my darker type, or whatever. All the brown-skinned people, because those are the only soil. So if you are made from soil, you have to be dark-skinned. You cannot be a white man. So what was you made from? You understand what I'm saying? Remember I said to you, there's a thing about alien. The culture that we're in is alien to us. That's what makes it an alien. Not just being extraterrestrial, but it's extra whoever we are. Eating shit, fucking, the filth that they get involved in that now black people are doing, like, practicing sucking oil and all that kind of stuff. It was never a part of the black culture for thousands of years going back. Why is it a part of it now? That's the imprisonment that you're under. I keep saying to you, and I keep repeating this, because a lot of things have to repeat it so that people can keep it in their brain. You know what I'm saying? So you got all these Trojans selling you, these people who are selling you like, nothing but some fuck, me I get that gal there, nothing but some fuck, why, nothing but some fuck, me I get that, that's all. And the next thing is, why am I wanting to fuck me, all, women, want the man to fuck her in her hole, you know what I'm saying, and shit like that. I mean, come on. This is where we're going to now, is it? This is the intelligence of the working class black community now. That their popular music is all about porn, is all about sex. And remember, I did this 15 years ago, and I told you, and this was when there was just Nigga Eye Pum Pum and just some regular little slack tunes. But people was actually writing lyrics about constructive stuff, was showing that they had the ability. This new artist is at a lower level. It's like going extraordinarily, and incompatibility is like the fundamental requisites of one's rare. You know what I mean? And then going to the fuck, the ras, pussy, ras, fuck. Yeah, pussy. It's like going from that to that in terms of your ability to manipulate words. Panda. Yeah, I got a hose in Atlanta. Got hose. Yeah, what? What the fuck did you go from, Biggie Smalls, even some of the other artists that, and the complexity of their rap lyrics to, I got hoes in Atlanta. And yeah, she wanna fuck me, and they got diamond rings on my nigga, gonna shoot him in the face on the diamond rings. Fuck, nigga, shit, nigga, fuck's that about, motherfucker? That's all they do, motherfucker, nigga, fuck, shit. You know what I'm saying? That the bitch hoe. You know what I'm saying? The whole of the working class community has just become poisoned. And you ain't getting nothing. You're big grown women in their 40s chasing looking and still acting like children as women, still functioning on the level of jealousy and pettiness on shows called Housewife in Atlanta or Hip Hop of Atlanta, or and you only got about a couple of artists like J. Cole and a few of them who are even bothering to sing anything of any construct. Nobody cares. You got grown men wanting to have twosomes, guys in their 40s wanting to have two, and people saying like wanting to have two. Bruv, ain't you outgrown that? Is that your fantasy to look at a white movie and listen to a white man's fantasy and then want it for yourself? You know You know what I mean? Your fantasy isn't that you can marry 2 women or live in a house with 2 women and have. No, that's not your fantasy. Your fantasy is that you want to be in bed with 2 women and, you know, them feeding up each other or whatever. Oh, come on, bro. I mean, like, please. And I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so if you've never had an upbringing amongst culture, or you've never been. Remember, my exposure to black culture was through a white woman. I wasn't exposed to black culture through black people. No, I was. I mean, Rasta was there. But I mean, the turn me on to actual books and all that wasn't a black person. It was a white person. So remember that. I don't have anything against white people. I'm talking about a culture-based injustice. You know what I'm saying? And that involves them. So if that then offends you because I'm saying this is what I can see happening, then of course you need mature. The system don't want you to be any mature because it wants you to work 18 hours a day. It wants you to, I mean, they've just introduced all this stuff without no change in law and no change in anything. They just introduced it, just made it happen. You just give the businessmen the right to abuse people. 12-hour days, 18-hour days, 16-hour days. How can a human being work like that? And that's the days we came from in order to have a decent working wage and a decent working day so people could go home to their children and start families and live like human beings. These people who run these Caucasians that run the world, the Jew Caucasians, all of them, the American Caucasians, all of them that claiming that they're a part of some kind of country and some kind of religion or some kind of thought process, they're just the white people taking over the planet. Don't you understand? Don't you see? You know what I'm saying? And you see, the thing is, nobody ever comes back to me and say you're chatting shit. They just come with their emotional argument. Well, so, well then, what are you trying to say? That's what I'm saying. I've just said what I'm trying to say. You know, and they wake up with the most inane comments. So, and they ask an inane, stupid question like, so, what, are you trying to say they're not human? What are you trying to say? I said, yeah, but I've said that. Well, so what else can they be then? What, do they fall from the sky? Like, what do they do? Like, fall from the sky? Like, you know? Well, no, I said I don't know where they come from. Yeah, but you can't say it if you don't know where they come from. Well, I just said it then. Yeah, but that's silly. Why are you saying that and you don't know where they come from? Because what they got... We bleed as well, and we got hot. I said, yeah, but so does cows bleed. You know, dogs bleed. Their blood is red, but they're human. I don't know about that. I think by having that limitation of the thought process that you only think what you see is what you get is the reason why they can have that guy with the knife and nobody asks the question, how comes this man in the car had his camera out long before the guy? Well, who hands up all those who know somebody who drives with their camera in their phone working on roads, just with their camera hanging out filming. Hands up all those people that know people that do that. So you tell me this brother, was this brother? I don't know. You tell me how 1 in 10, if you was to put that in a sequence of probabilities, tell me how much 1 in 100 grillion, 10 billion, 1,000 people would have seen that. You know what I'm saying? Just on the road in Croydon with their camera on from the very beginning, even before the guy crashed. Tell me who do you know like that goes around with their cameras ready to film somebody about to stab somebody on that particular road, on that particular day, in that particular time. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sure if a lot of this, what you see is actually what you're really getting. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm just asking the question. Why on earth did that person who's driving, it was illegal to have your camera out anyway, and legally, how did you get away with that being legal in your car? Because the guy took the picture from in his car. I saw the video. And the camera was on before the guy even got out of the fucking car. So how did you know that this was going to happen? And you're driving. Remember, you're not standing still. You're not parked. You're driving on the road. How does that happen? So you see what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to make is that that's, you know, we know in 911, we know what's going on. You know, for those of us who are quote unquote woke-o, or like local. You know what I'm saying? For those who are woke-o, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. That, you know, there's a situation going on that people are unaware of. You know what I'm saying? There's a situation going on that people they're not, are you kidding me? You know what I'm saying? You know, like, you're not woke at all, you fucking morons. You're not woke. I mean, and like, remember when I say you morons, it's a collective moron. You won't hear me call an individual a moron. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not part of my lecture. The lecture I can say that. I wouldn't, if you've been to my lectures, I don't say that individually or to people. You know, I'll say like the rhetorical. Are you dumb? That's rhetorical. It's not meant to cuss anyone or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? If you understand what rhetorical mean, and I'm not going to go into it right now. But yeah, it just doesn't mean it's individually directed at you. Yeah. But the pain and the suffering that we've suffered, from that we can remember, is coming out in the children. You know what I mean? They're killing each other. Children are killing children on minor infractions. Who are you looking at, bro? Who you screwing, bro? How comes you coming across the, like, these are the things that the Americans introduced. Yeah, I grew up, and many of us grew up when nobody cared about fucking postcodes, bruv. People never cared about estates. The American and their twisted psychology has brought this violence to the mindset of the world and the mindset through the music. And they're being manipulated by the white people that control the music. No black person really wanted. From it first came out, I used to watch them, the documentaries saying that, I like the music, but I don't like them referring to us as bitches and hoes. I remember all those documentaries that was out then. And now everybody refers to themselves as a bitch as a hoe. I'm saying it can be done because white people control everything. Everything that a black man owns, they control. Birdman, he's not the controller. He's running his business underneath the white man's business. There's no independent black man around anywhere. Opera, none of them. None of them are independent. Obviously, none of the actors are independent. None of the basketball players are independent. You understand what I'm saying? They're all controlled by a white man somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But what they do is it's like that show off on the community. I earned this amount. If Opera's earning $1 billion, then the person that helped her to get here, the Jewish company that helped her to put together Harpo or Opera, whatever, they got grillions. Centillion, fenfillion grillions. Yeah, that's those numbers that I don't know even exist. Yeah. I mean, it's more than a trillion. It's a fenfillion. Just numbers upon numbers. Yeah. But, they got money, so that's why they can afford to pay zenzillion for something. You have a card or something like that, and it's 10 years old, and say, yeah, I'll give you 100 zenzillion for that, because I've got money and I'm in this position where I've crossed you the same times I want something that you have, and I got so much of that thing that you want that I've got that I can give you as much as you possibly want and still have whole heap left. You know what I'm saying? That's what that money and that collectors is all about. It's not about anything else. These people, they worship materialism. We're a spiritual group. Maybe that's why they were sent here. Maybe they are the devils or the demons of the. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? They have poisoned a whole race of people, a whole humanity. I don't necessarily think that. I mean, you cannot act inhumane for 400 years and then say that you're human. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're being called out, isn't it? The 21st century is showing you that you've been the most inhumane race of people across the globe, across the planet. And what you try to do, and they've hidden a lot of their atrocities as well. They've wiped out entire villages. They've laid flat. They've sent in mercenaries. You know what I'm saying? In some, in documents that they've what they call redacted, which means they've scribbled out words and stuff like that. They've wiped out entire villages. The people that came back from Vietnam, so many of them came back with psychotic illnesses about the things that they had to do and had done to people in that country. That for about over nearly a decade it was talked about. The illnesses that these men had because of the psychotic behavior they had to go on with to human beings in that country. You know what I'm saying? They hate humanity. This group of people called Caucasians, being called from the European, they do not like human beings. Remember, every time I say human beings or humanity, I'm talking about the original people of the earth who are black. Adam and Eve, or the invention Adam and Eve, or the creation of the first beings on the planet, they would have been of the top. If they were made from dust, they would have been of topsoil dust, which was black. If they were made in another point, they would have been of other soil dust, which would be red. You know what I'm saying? Which obviously would come out like a browny type of red, or brown, or dark brown. You understand what I'm saying? There was no white soil to be made. So white people wouldn't have been in the first creation. You understand? Again, I'll tell you this. The only people that hide from that shade themselves are Caucasian. Right, so when the Caucasians hit Mexico and that side of the brown people wiped out in that Aztec region and all that time, the sombrero was invented to shade them from the sun. You know what I'm saying? In China, when they invaded China and the Caucasian entered there, they had to invent I forgot the name of the Chinese hat. If anybody knows it, send it in. That they wear, you know what I'm saying, to shade them from the sun. The Americans, the British and all the other people where there's heat, they invented a thing called the umbrella. The umbrella wasn't to shade them from the sun. It was actually to shade them from the rain. It was actually designed to shade them from the sun. That's what the umbrella was designed for. It wasn't designed to be waterproof. It wasn't designed to stop the rain. It was designed to shade them from the sun. So that's another thing. I don't know how you can be born on the earth. Now you tell me of any what's it? Also the baseball cap in America, which is the same. That wasn't invented for black people. It was invented to shade the white man. No, before the baseball cap. Sorry, that cowboy hat. The cowboy hat was invented to shade them from the sun. It wasn't to prove that they were cowboys. You know what I'm saying? Like yeehaw. That's all narrative of Hollywood. The cowboy hat was designed to protect them from the sun. Then obviously later down they've got the baseball hat, which is also to protect them from the sun. Now, in the original people, there's nothing across the Aborigines, the Indians, the Africans, the Egyptians. There's nothing that they have that protects them from the sun. The Arabs, the black Arabs, nothing. The only thing they wear on their hat is a turban that they use, which they use as a to protect. They bring down to protect them from the sun in the sunstorm, like a scarf on their head, basically. There is no invention that black man has invented to shade him from the sun. He knows when he's ready, he just crouches under a tree. The only people that have had to shade themselves and invent stuff to hide from the sun is this Caucasian European. So if you don't understand, if you haven't woke enough, if your woke is only about knowing that Marcus Garvey did this, or if that's what you think woke is, you're not woke. You understand? You're not fucking woke, you dick. You know what I mean? Yeah, and you know, so I'm not saying that you can't have an understanding, because clearly everybody can have an understanding. But to claim that you're woke, you're stupid. You know what I'm saying? So you've gone from consciousness now, and then the white people, the American white blacks, have invented some term called woke. Swipe. Right, where else are we? Oh, turn up the volume on the mics. I only said that earlier. I didn't see that. Sorry about that. 1, 2. Is that better? Some people were hearing it, else they wouldn't have said that. 0, 0. Okay. Big up, Ricky. Thanks for that. What's this there? Jamaica has lost this. Who's this? 425. New Zealand is wiping. Australia's are wiping out the Aborigines. There's so much hatred towards the Muslims, and the disabled is getting worse. Australia wiping out the Aborigines. New Zealand is wiping out the Maoris. They will be giving teachers robots and social services to robots. They can imagine teacher a robot, and you can imagine robot social worker. They're going to give police, military, ambulance, and social worker and teachers to robots, and there will be no humans in the jobs. Jamaica has lost its honour, and the police are corrupt. Algeria is a dickhole country and is a pussy. They have sex with other people. I think the same people. The European turned everywhere into savage land, or savages, or what they say. Right. So yeah. So 07440 if you just tuned in. 370200. And it is 07440 370200. So yeah. So as I was saying, they control the narrative. So the reason why I am not as invested as I used to be in terms of that is because nobody's going to do anything. You know what I'm saying? I said years ago that the new black is mixed race, and I said the new god is money. And I said this over a decade ago. You know what I'm saying? And this is a decade later. This is where we're at. A money god, and you know what I'm saying? Because they're doing the same thing they did. I said it in Brazil. Same thing they're doing to the Aborigines. Now you got mixed race people calling themselves Aborigine because, you know what I mean, one half of them is Aborigine, so therefore they're an Aborigine. The only narrative, the only people that have that type of narrative is white people. That can be half of something and whole of something else. So that's why they call in Obama black, even though his mum was white. You know what I'm saying? And then people are convincing themselves in their wokeness that what they're thinking of in terms of mixed race people is they're black, based upon racism. Another term that I wanted to talk about as well, like, even though I didn't mention it in the outlay, you know what I'm saying? And because I don't just, I'm not a topic reader. I just read a topic. I talk, I narrate, and I talk, and I storyline, and everything will be in there. You know what I'm saying? But is this what I'm going to deal with? Understand? So we talked about Trojan and human beings and but you know, you clearly know we're in a prison. You know what I'm saying? But we'll get into that. But what I want to look at now is trying to show you how they manipulate the words. You know what I'm saying? 07440 370 200. If you want to send in a text message, or if you want to give us a call and make some type of contribution. I also will be on the next show next weekend with another colleague of mine. I don't want to give away where and when, but if you watch my Facebook or you connected me in any way, I'll let you know the day before if it's still on, and you can tune in to that discussion there on another station with another colleague of mine. But I won't tell you who and when, because there's a fear that they're going to want to chop the station off because I'm going to be on it. Or because I don't know, but whatever. 07440 370 200. It's what you do when you chat to me, or you want to text me something. Right. So again, the narratives of control. So let's look at this. Now, people, remember in the beginning, I spoke about this before, and I'll tell you again. So you can have this to spin around. Because what I might have to do now, I might have to go on the internet and just leave these bits, and so people can pass them around, because it's not like these. You know, we might have to cut the show because these long bits of time people can't manage anymore. They want it in like little small packages. So I need to make you know where I'm going. The term white privilege is a new term invented by white people to protect white people. Yeah? The term white supremacy is a term invented by white people to protect white people. These are not terms that you're supposed to be using, because they don't talk about what white people are, which are racist. They don't talk about the system which is what people are perpetuating, which is racism. You get me? So there is no white privilege. Privilege is a class thing. You know what I'm saying? They're not a class, they're a race. So there's no white privilege. This is white arrogance. Yeah? The reason why they can do this more than we can do it is because they're arrogant, and because they're white. Not because they're privileged. It's a privilege of theirs. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they're human or what, but they're part of the human race, or they're part of the humanoid-ish or whatever. You understand? They created all the laws and then they circumvent them. There is no supreme white people, so that you can't use supremacy as a means to address them or their racist behavior. There's no supremacy in racism. You understand what I'm saying? What you're talking about is white power or white world domination or white domination. That's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, they because they create, and they tell you what they call them so that they don't feel as bad as they're supposed to feel. So they say, yeah, you know, them white supremacy sounds good, but if you say, you know, them white races, has a different feel, you know, because the human beings on the planet, all over the planet, are feeling people. They narrate and they communicate through color, sound, and shapes. So they need to feel something and see something. That's why they are able to manipulate emotions, because that's what humans do. They live from emotions. But as an evolved species, what we should be learning to do is control our emotions. Have our emotions under our control. Like, you know, like when you want to do, I don't know if any of you have ever done the stabbing thing with your knife. Well, I don't think you would have done, but you know, you stab, you know, through the holes in the knife, and the more, you know, you don't end up stabbing your finger. You know what I'm saying? Shows you've got a sense of control. Or if you're playing piano or the flute, you know what I'm saying? Or even the drums, it shows you've got control over your limbs, and you can do it, move them in a rhythmical pace. Yeah. So that's control. So the same thing with your anger, your grieving, you know, whatever. You know, you have a way and you have a means to control them and put them in a way where they're not detrimental to you or to anybody else, or just under your control, where you manage it, when you're able to do something constructive with them or productive with them, yeah, rather than just destructive. Yeah, so you need to, you know, if to be human, you need to have those things under control. You know what I'm saying? Your emotions. So that's what human beings do. So they feed off of that. So, you know what I mean? This other group, they don't feed off of that. They feed off of something else, something that which you know, they feed off the ability. A lot of them feel of the ability to manipulate human beings, you know what I'm saying, to do to their bidding. So it's like a slave race of people who enjoy, people who have a hierarchy, like the ants, who have a hierarchical system. Nobody created the system. Who says it's fair that some of the ants can't breed and the men them can only breed and dead? No, imagine you live in a world where the man them can only, most of the ant colony, are mostly female. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the queen run it, yeah? But when the man them born, them have a little sex and then them just dead. You understand? Them no, they don't serve no purpose and for fuck and dead. You understand? So, who created that system? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? What the point I'm trying to make is that there's many systems to be created. So, when somebody is trying to tell you what to call them, then you're a dummy. You know what I mean? Like white. There's no white. You see, all you're just talking about is white race. But because they control the news, who gives the news to a white man is a white man. Who tells the news to a white man is a white man. Who then services the news might be a black man, but he's got no fucking power. He has to do as he's told, because that's the system that they have. You understand what I'm saying? So there's no point looking at a black man telling the news and thinking you're going to get better news. You're not. He's going to be told. The originator of that news is going to be white. The originator of that news wire station or the running will be white. All the stations that you see in America, you got black breakfast TV. It's run by white people. It's owned by white companies. Yeah. So I don't know what you think you're doing, but these guys are alright because they're making their money, because the rule of the Caucasian, the alien Caucasian, or the extra, whatever you want to call them, extra humanoid alien or whatever, what you want to call them, yeah? Yeah, their rule is about separation, because they control you better when you're separate. You understand? So as long as they give you something separately, my brethren saying to me, don't worry about nobody else, just worry about yourself. That's a uniquely Caucasian statement. It's a uniquely European statement. You know, you're supposed to worry about yourself only, you know what I'm saying, to feed. Shit, only to feed the rest of the. Wow, that jerked me. Because I had the headphones on, it was loud. To feed into the rest of the, colony. That's what you're meant to worry about yourself for, not to worry about yourself for yourself's sake. Now, I mean, you've had MPs talk about a black MP, Diane Abbott, who went on Twitter and said white people. Genesis 90. What I mean, Dr. X, who's that?
Yeah, good afternoon, Dr. X.
Good afternoon, sir. Mr. C, how you doing, sir?
I'm alright. I heard you talking about this informant thing earlier on.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to have a look at thing, because I used to work for a certain government agency, and I was only about 20, I was about 21 at the time.
Right.
And a lot of the things that I saw were so disgusting. What they've got is they've got about 3 or 4 different levels of informants. Okay. So they've got confidential informants, which is I think that's a higher level one where you can't, you have to have certain security clearance for them man to even know who, like certain people to even know who they are.
Right.
Then you've got human intelligence informant, which is just anybody. And I feel like there's another couple of levels. I can't remember what they are. I've been trying to remember for the longest time. But they've got different levels of informants. It's not just a one-size-fits-all thing where you just go in the police station and say something. They've got different levels of it. And when you're saying about the redaction thing, that's what I used to do, because I was in an admin position. So they literally give you files, and you'd have to go through it with like a black pen, and you'd cross out people's names, you'd cross out addresses. So obviously when you're disclosing stuff to the defence, so like you've got a case against you now, and your lawyer says, right, we want to get full disclosure of what the prosecution or what the government agency's got. They'll give it to you, but they will cross out certain things like who the informant is, where the informant lives.
And the address.
Yeah, so it's some of the things but they discussed in these that I will kind of, I got burnt out working. I had to leave because the things that I saw in the debauchery, they have parties, the cocaine, all kinds, they're more corrupt than the criminals. You think you go in the toilet and then you've got a window ledge. Yeah. I used to put my hand on the ledge and lift up your hand with bare white powder on your hand. So half of this is just us. Not for these man, because remember it's a job for life, you know. When civil service job is a job for life, so they're securing, they can do what they want to do. I used to read reports, because what it is, they got reports about certain officers, whether they're police, customs officers, whatever. And not for these reports, because for them to be witnesses in a case, they can't have certain things against them, so we have to sift out certain officers. Right. When you read their file, enough of them get caught in with prostitutes, enough of them get caught, policing evidence. It's all kind of something what they do, and they keep their job. They just slap on the wrist for it. They keep their job, but all it is that they can't. There's certain things that they can't do once they've got that on their record, so they can't go in court and sort of be an upstanding officer. Obviously, the defence will have that disclosure of them. So, it's deep, man, because this everybody thinks it's just one level of informant. No. They've got different levels of informants depending on what type of what type of level of activity they're dealing with. They've also got levels of gangs, so they'd have a list of different gangs. So they have the Yardies, they'd have the Triad, they'd have the Eastern European, and they list them in terms of, you know, like when they have like a nuclear thing where they have
stage one or whatever, like
yeah,
or whatever. Yeah. See?
Depending on which group of people is causing the most problem, they're at the top of the list and it goes down. It can change from time to time. So these people are smart. They're very smart. Even the little stupid people. And you think they're stupid, but what it is. Even though they're stupid, they've got a system in place where even if you're stupid, as long as you follow the procedure, bruv. Yeah, as long as you follow the procedure, you can be as dumb as Ross, but as long as you could, they have this simple Simon procedure for how to go about things, and as long as you follow that, then you're nice. You're nice. So I'm saying this. I noticed this as well. Now being, doing some security work and all that. That because they have them as like. How do you do it? Like in a computer, you got this simple program that does so much, but it's led by this other program. But this program is so simple that you can even hack it quite quickly. But it's not the program itself; it's the rest of it. Without the rest of it, you can't really. You can do something to that little bit, but the rest of it you can't affect. I hear what you're saying. Bro. Exactly. If they seal off certain shit, so. Because I've been in, not just in jobs that last job I'm talking about, even other jobs, when it gets to a certain level they take it away from you and you don't know where it's gone, what's happened to it. So if it escalates to a certain level, whether it's a fatality or an informant gets compromised or something like that, you just snap this gun from you. They'll take it off your desk when you go home. You come in the next morning and you find your files missing and a little post-it note saying so-and-so's got this file now, and that's it, you never hear nothing about it.
You see, that's like TV, bro. I mean, like this. You see how Hollywood is so closely related to reality because they live.
But even with the Harvey Weinstein thing, because I'm so sick and tired of them stereotyping black men as predators towards women. And every workplace I've ever been in, it's always the opposite. There's always some white man suspended because he couldn't keep his hands to himself. Or there's always some. But I've been harassed by white women in workplace and Asian women. It's not nice. I know what women go through because it's not nice when you got someone in a position of power and it's like. They can't just take. I've been in a situation where they take you in a room and they're all invading your personal space. Like there's a clear boundary, and someone's like invading your personal and trying to pretend that they're showing you something all breathing all over you, and all kind of. It's horrible, man.
I know what you're saying. Especially when like I'm not feeding you a bit. Like where you going?
Yeah, exactly. But and the thing is, this is why like back in I used to pass a lot of black people who didn't want to work. But I kind of get it now. I kind of understand why and working class white people, why they don't want to work, why they'd rather just do their thing outside of the system, because when you go into some of these places, if you're not strong, and if you don't know, I feel for some of these youths, because I can see what they're letting themselves in for. If you're not strong and you don't know what you're doing, some of these girls will end up getting gang raped in Christmas parties, bro. It's not even a joke, and then wake up the next day and don't know what I want. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that's happening.
You know
what I mean?
As a security, I can tell you that has happened. You know what I'm saying? But what do you think, as a question, of do you know about the Capleton situation?
Well, I was in Jamaica for about 2-3 months last year, and I tell you something, I didn't want to go to Kingston and management place. I stayed in the country because the city, it's madness, bro. Like, the level, what you're saying is true, the level of debauchery, the level of sex, the level of crime is ridiculous. There's from what I've heard in Kingston, there's people that's just like saying, if you're going to kill me, just kill me, innit? Like, that mindset now, people, the youth have got that mindset, like, if I do it, because the violence is so nuts out there, especially in Kingston. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. It's on a level where even the tourists are getting it now. The tourists that go to Montego Bay and Ocho, they've got to have special police. They have to have a special protection zone for them. They're talking about they're going to make these special zones in Jamaica where, how can I say, it's flooded with police basically. So all the places like Ocho,
10 years ago,
they got this.
I said you're going to zone off. Bruv, they live.
But the thing is that I don't rate none of them. You're talking about people, and I don't rate none of them because I see the sun splash, whatever they call it. They got this sunset something there, right? Budgie was there. This is before we got back to the cocaine. Budgie was there, Beanie Man was there. It's just pure sex, blood. And it's only for these Americans that go out there with this big batty woman. I don't know if you know her. She's like the new Carly in the dance.
Yeah. I forgot her name.
Yeah, she was one big batty, and she's pulling people on the stage and winding up with them, and it's just disgusting. The thing with Jamaica, what I realised, even on the plane, because I noticed on the plane, you see white man on there by themselves, and I'm thinking, what is white man do on the plane? But we have no family with him, no nothing, and they act like they own it. They go in there for sex, bro. Jamaica is a sex tourism capital, along with places like Thailand, where the paedophile men then go, along with places. Yeah, it's just a sex thing. To me, we put this thing, it's not just people, and you see the others. Another thing that I wanted to say to you about the whole Jamaica thing and the reggae music thing, you will soon start in, because what I noticed as well, you're talking about mixed races the new black. I think it's Asian people as well. You'll soon start seeing Asian man making reggae music. I think it's already happening. I think there's one brother out there, I can't remember his name. You'll soon start seeing Asian man being a big spot in rock. That's a new thing that they're going to put.
But remember, Sandapal, is Sanjapal, you know, is that Indian that, you know? Is that Indian American? Yeah. So they're already there.
No, I told you, no, the Indian man that did like back in the day, what's his name? My guy from Saxon. What's his name? Supercat.
Alright, yeah.
Supercat probably the only Indian man that can give a black. Because we used to talk about black people and black people's problems, but nothing. Sean Paul talk about nothing like that.
No.
Sean Paul on some drink. Yeah, bro.
Can't you remember?
But the question I want.
Sorry, quickly, because remember when I went to Egypt, he was over there. They don't.
Sure?
Yeah, Sean Paul. No dark-skinned people can perform there. They don't have some.
Yeah, I bet.
No, if you're not dark, if you're light-skinned, you can't. If you're dark-skinned, like Dennis Brown and them.
Can you ask your question though? Why is it that we're not allowed to talk about that though? Because fair enough, you're talking about it on the radio, and I respect you for that. But I know, say, if I go amongst my brethren, them or on just even on road in a betting shop, and I start talking about the dark-skinned, light-skinned people be like, shut up, man, don't talk about that. Like, for the longest time, we as dark-skinned people, we're not allowed to voice that. It's not just white people that discriminate against us. It's the light-skinned people. It's the Indian. We can't talk about that. Even
in the genes, they know, bruv. In their genetics, they know. The original people of the earth are the people. Remember, I just talked about the hiding from the sun. Yeah, the real.
But what I'm saying to you, if you say something, they say that you're mad or that you're paranoid.
I'm trying to tell you where it's coming from. You're asking me where it's coming, saying it's in the DNA. Because a lot of them won't go with white women. And a lot of them have got, a lot of those people that you're talking about, they fancy white girls or seen a white woman or have mixed race children. So obviously if you're going to say something like that, it's going to affect their whole psyche. You know what I'm saying? You would be surprised the amount of black men that love off white women.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because even where I'm living, I'm not surprised. Even where I'm living now, most of the black men them have mixed race children, and it's like it's a surprise for them. It's like they done something big. They got their life in you, and that's it. And
it's the same. That's what I'm saying. It's the same in Brazil. This is how they create this new race of people. And remember, I told you about how you create different races of different breeds of dogs and different breeds. They only mixed race people tend to only then go with mixed race. They keep telling they're black, but why are they going with other mixed race people then? Why? You know what I'm saying? I understand. So they create this whole. They want this whole race of them, and then they're gonna say they're black. They're gonna say like all the mixed race people in Brazil and that they say they're Brazilian when the original Brazilians were born. All of them have gone missing because they've mixed in with the Polish who came there in waves, and now you've got a whole, place millions of mixed race people who are passing themselves as black Brazilian. That's what's happening.
Yeah, but you know something. I agree with what you're saying, but you know something. I knew the introducer was gonna come because I remember back in the late 90s, early 2000s. You see when Beyonce first come out, and all these white people started jumping on her, and it was like the rest of the band didn't matter. It was all about Beyonce. I thought to myself, something funny is going on here because all the other girl bands never used to be like that. SWV, PLC, there was never one person that was just the focus of it. All of them was kind of shared the limelight, and it's one group come out now and it was all about Beyonce. Everything about Beyonce. Every white activist, listen, bro. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Anything that's all. I used to say this back in, when we was doing lectures back in the day. I was saying to you, a lot of you keep talking about black, but most of the people that made headway for black people were white skin. The one who's made the most noise in so far as a movement as an individual today in America. What is it? They say it's a black man, but what is it?
People. Me and my brother were trying to think about.
No. I'm asking you if you might not know. I'm just asking if you do know. As one
individual. I can't hear you properly. Say that again.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm saying who's the man who's made the most noise? Who's created the most wave in America? This in the last year or two. One man. You know what I'm saying? He's mixed race. It's called that guy who did the knee. Is a mixed race brother. Because you see, the black man who does that move, nobody's gonna care about him. The reason why they care about the black or mixed race guy,
we can't talk. If you're not light skin or white, you can't talk. If you're dark skin and you try to see something of intelligence, it's like whoa, get back in your place. You know what I'm saying?
Trust me. And that's the rate. People talk about colorism, but the mixed race people that I know, they don't want to look at that. They want to keep saying we're all black and we're all. As soon as you point it out to them, like as ones that I know, all of a sudden we're all black. We're all humans. These are the mixed race people.
They say that though, but they're the first one to talk about how they got the good hair and how they got the nice
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
We're caught in that, bro.
And when you point, exactly like you said, when you point out to them that actually you got that here because you're not black, all of a sudden we're all black.
We're all human. We're all human. You know what I mean? We all bleed. We all got, and all that. We're all flesh and blood.
Actually, one thing I like to say to you as well, because my brother showed me the video of you and Quasi doing the African thing, right? And I have to say to you, a man of your intelligence, and I've been listening to you since I was a youth man, right? I think it's useful to your intelligence to do that, bro. We are way for anybody that's still arguing over whether we're African or Caribbean or this, that, or the other. You're backwards.
Brother,
these kind of things, you know, let me just finish on this. You know we've gone backwards.
I know, I just say that.
We don't have them arguments, we were clear about, you know, when you call you African person, we might be born in this country and you're Jamaica. We were all clear about who we were. So where did this thing come from about all of a sudden we're all African? This is a I think you don't do them things again, because it's an insult to your intelligence, bro.
But no, I don't. But see, listen, I hear you, see, but hear what I'm saying why I did it, yeah? Because of that backwardness. Because I want to show them I'm not afraid of none of you lot. I'm not afraid to tell you up front. I had to show them because you said it's backward, but they're still on it. So I'm saying, like, let me go. Like, do you know how much people was booing me from the back and shouting out from the back? It was a madness. It wasn't easy.
I thought to you, blood. I honestly thought to you. I said to myself, a man of this intelligence, a man that's as well read as you, well applied as you, to be arguing. It was like from the sport, like from the sixth form debating, blood.
No, bro.
I think you. And the woman that was mediating it as well, I don't know what she was doing. The woman in the middle, the chairwoman.
I know, bro.
Oh my goodness, bro.
We only got what we got, though. Sorry to cut you, bro, but we only got what we got. That's what I'm saying to you. I only had to use what I've got, and that shows you that we lack the real ability to do this thing. You know what I'm saying? We do lack it. Look what we've turned out over these.
Let me give you a comparison. Let me give you a comparison or analogy or comparative analysis, as people say. Right? You've got white people who claim that they're Anglo-Saxon. Now Saxony is in Germany. The Anglo-Saxons claim they're from Germany, right? But they don't identify themselves as Saxons from Germany. They are English because they came here and they've been here for hundreds, thousands of years. They mixed in with the Normans, they mixed in with Celtics, they mixed in with Irish. So they're English, right? So the same way that you know what I'm trying to say, it's just simple common sense. You cannot live somewhere for hundreds of years and still be of what you came from all them hundreds of years ago, and you mixed in different things, it's a totally different culture, you're eating different food. I mean, where did jerk come from? Where did the seed, why we have to season our meat so hard like that? You know what I'm saying? Listen, we don't eat jollof, right? You know, come on, man, this is something.
I know, but the point is, what I'm saying to you, remember, I'm saying, what do you think they're saying to me now? Because I'm trying to say to you that, you know, we've been robbed of a lot of our history, so we don't realise that there are a group of us that were made on Earth for Earth. And then there was another us that seem to look like, by the way they treat other human beings and destroy the human culture, it seems like, look, they're destroying humans and creating robots to replace them. Why would a human or any organic person or being want to replace itself with something inorganic? I don't know any intelligent life form that does that. So that must mean that you're not from that same life form that seeded the planet. So now people say to me, you're chatting madness, bro. You're chatting, that's some space thing, bro.
And that ties into what you were saying very eloquently about how we live in a prison, because I wanted to talk to you about that as well. The whole robot thing, the CCTV thing, looking to put speakers in the sea. You don't know what surveillance they've got on us now. London's got more CCTV than any city in the world, and we don't have guns. Police don't have guns. How is New York and LA got less CCTV than us? I don't understand that. How does that happen? What on earth?
Yeah, I know.
And even with the CCTV, the Muslim man can still go and chop up their people on London Bridge. They can still go and blow up. It just don't make no sense to me, brother. It doesn't make. And another thing I wanted to say to you, the Windrush thing, right?
Now, done on purpose. That was done on purpose. Another
caller that spoke to you and said to you that there seems to be a problem where they seem to be targeting Jamaicans, and I absolutely agree. I think that they know that there's a fighting spirit, or there's something in Jamaicans. They want us out, bro. They want us out because to me it seems like they've got something prepared later on down the line. You know, they work 24 years. Absolutely. They've got something prepared, and they're scared that if they bring it out with too much Jamaicans here, they're not going to get away with it, bro. because the way that they were going after Jamaican people was ridiculous, bro.
Considering that the Africans there's more Africans here than there are Jamaicans. I want you to know that. And there's more illegal. There's they ain't a part of the Commonwealth, so there will be far more illegal Africans here than there would ever be Jamaicans. Yeah, because
but what they do, and I see this in workplaces. What they do. Once they find out that you're Jamaican and you've got an African colleague sitting next to you and near you, they will treat you completely differently as to how they treat the African. This is why I'm saying to you, they're targeting us. They've got some problem with Jamaican people because they're fine with the Africans, oh my God, you can take a lunch break, whatever. It's like Diana talked about the divide and conquer thing. They're very good at that. They're very good at that. And what they do is they want to have the Nigerian versus the Jamaican, the Ghanaian versus the Jamaican. It's just madness, bro. It's just madness. And you have to. This is why I'm saying a lot of these youths out there are feel for them, bro. Because if you ain't strong and you're not clued up, you will go and follow these places. But hold on, bro. Don't have you in a mingle.
Sorry to cut you again, but that's what I'm saying to you. Like, it's not that youths them, the man them are like children. Man still a send me picture. Me a big brass man. You still a send me picture big buttock, What the earth am I still doing? That's why I'm saying I asked you about the Capleton situation. As a man, what are you doing in a hotel room with a bag of girl and children you have already? With a hotel room with a chick that you have to grind so that she can lock you up? What are you doing at that stage of your life, bruv? You're retarded. What is wrong with black men?
How you understand it is exactly what you said. The man got like to remember, this man got bag of money and bag of girl.
Bag of money, bag of girl, bag of money.
He hasn't even had a sit back in his bed. Boy, how am I going to get through this? How am I going to talk to this person in a way where I can get what I want without running up my mouth to them? He doesn't have to go through all of that stuff. He doesn't have to read a book or sit down and educate him. All he does is sing his little record tune and sex girl. So that's all he knows. And saying this to me. So he's right to get, as far as I'm concerned, he's right to get set up. And I bet you any money, police was laughing after him when he got taken to the state.
Come on, bro, that's ridiculous.
Laugh after him, yes. Who now you still got she's the rape as well? She's like, the one with the choir tune?
Yeah, right. Has he got one as well?
He got she's the rape, and I think he got underage. I think it was like a 14-year-old girl. She's look it up. I think he got accused one time. All of them have been done to them. All these so-called Rasta high school.
Bro, my brethren was just saying to me, he said, I bun the Rasta them type of Rasta. Not all Rasta obviously, but them type. It's like they live in this place that they talk about this stuff that it's like they're like white people. That's what white people are, with respect. They are duplicitous. They always doing double-handed stuff. They starve Africa and then send Africa aid. It's like that's what they do. They'll sack you and then send you.
Here's a joke, because I studied with some of these rich Africans. I don't want to start boasting and nothing like that, saying I got this and I got that, but I studied with nothing these men. And what they tell me is that the money don't go to the people. I used to have an African brother who said his dad was a Nigerian, but his dad was high up in the customs office in Nigeria. He said to me, come home from school and they'll be holding the money on the table, US currency as well. So the money, the foreign aid that they're giving to Africa is coming straight to the same thing in South Africa. It's going straight to the media and they're cronies. It's not coming to the people. And
absolutely.
You have people like Dr. Chancellor Williams and Sheikh, whatever his name is, talking about how sooner or later the Africans are going to rise up against their leaders because of this shit. But I don't think they are.
No.
I don't think they are because it's been going on for so long now that you see what's going to happen with what happened by now. It's just a ring.
What they do?
It's not, listen, let me tell you something. This is not foreign aid, it's a bribe. We need to stop calling it foreign aid. It's right, man.
Yeah, it's true.
Big
respect. It's true. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's a great point, bro. It's bribe. It's not aid at all.
Going back to your point, sorry to interrupt you, but going back to your point about Gaddafi, I think that was part of what he was trying to do as well. He was trying to think to Africa, man, listen, stop beg them people money. Let's do our own thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know how you sit on the road and you're breaking buying his wheat from someone else and you say to your breaking listen stuff. Stop buying wheat from that man. Let's do our own thing and make our own, do and set up our own. That's what Gaddafi was trying to do.
And guess what?
It's back to normal.
And guess what? Guess what? A lot of the police run. A lot of other authorities, whether you want to call them police or agents or whatever, run the weed business. So you see when you come in, I tell you what happens, or what has happened to people that I know. You see when you come in and run your own thing and got your own supply line, they're looking. Someone's going to grass you up, and that's going to last you about 2 or 3 months before you go to jail. Yeah, because they only want to be in control at all times. Yeah, go on.
The thing that I noticed, and this is just me on road, a bit about, I've got bridges I've been on road. Any man that I see that's shooting, and especially if they're shooting from their yard, right, and they're doing it for not long, but all their bridges are going jail and doing going jail, that's when you can start, that's when you can start asking questions.
Yeah, you see it.
Because I've seen it so many times, you have 2, 3 brothers, maybe even 4, right, and all his bridges is going jail, but he's not going jail, and he's shooting from, it's not like he's shooting smart like in America, what they do out of phone book and all them funny, he's doing it from his yard, bridges. And how do you think they're not coming? And it's always some little music brother as well, it's always some little sneaky type brother, it's never some, you know what I mean, proper regular guys. Listen, man. But the thing, going back to what you were saying about people and all that, the reason why these men act like this, again, and I'm sure other people are saying, there's the consequences. And you see, they own all the media, they own everything. But people don't only go answer to white people. You don't have to answer to us. You don't think what we think. You know what I'm saying? He don't care what we think. Obama don't care what black people think. He only cares what the Clintons and the Bushes think. So, and you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I don't know. I keep hearing you say that people keep asking me for solutions and saying to me, like some of my friends are saying to me, because some of my friends have got strength and they're getting worried, but they're like, well, we need to know to you what's the solution. And I say to them, bro, there is no solution. All you can do is survive. This is survival at the moment.
That's right. Penitentiary, bro. Penitentiary privileges. This is what, when you talk about white privilege, white people are what people that they're talking about are not they are the owners. They ain't got privilege. They got authority. These are white authority status. This is not privilege. That's what I was trying to talk about. It's not privilege. It's status. It's white status. That means by the authority that you've created in this planet or in England or whatever, you have status. So when you know, it's not privilege and it's not supremacy. This is white. When you're saying, boy, that person's using their white status, not their white privilege, because we're clear that you are running this shit. So it's not your privilege you're using, because you don't. Where's your ticket to say you got privilege? You know what I'm saying? There ain't no ticket. It's a status you have as a white person. That's what you're using. You've got money. You've got friends in authority. That's status. That's not privilege. You understand? Because they live in a penitentiary. The European system across the globe is a penitentiary, servile system. Remember, 700, 800 years ago, they were calling each other the master and lord and all that kind of stuff.
But that's what can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how can I say to you. The same way like on a slave plantation, you'd have certain things that have privileges. Yeah. Now they look a light-skinned slave or they look a house master slave, they could go down the road, they might get able to travel past the ground, buy something, or
they have privileges.
They could sleep in the house. Say that again?
No, I'm saying, light-skinned people have more privilege than the white people. White people have status, and light-skinned people have privilege because they've got they've got an accent.
But this is what I'm saying to you. But this is what I'm saying to you. What I want to ask you is, you're calling it a kind of thing which I agree with, but I'd go one step further. I don't know if you agree. I think it's just another version of slavery, as far as I'm concerned, from what I've studied. I studied a lot. It never really ended. They just went from one version to another. So they just went from a blatant version of we'll tie you to a tree and whip you, to like you said, a penitentiary system where you can live and you sound global, because they keep talking about globalization. Yeah, I think to myself like, no, global. I'd love to go to America and work for a couple of years. I'd love to go to Canada and work for a couple. Try to do that, look. Try to get these, even just to go to America for holiday. See the madness that you have to go through. But it's a global world. Listen.
Yes, bro. You see what I'm saying? Remember, I'm telling you that. That's what I'm saying to you, that wherever these people came from, right? They've conquered everywhere. Africa is the last continent that has human beings left on it, or the dark skin. You know what I'm saying? So that's why there's a focus on Africa. After Africa, there is nothing left on the planet for them to take over. They've taken Russia, they've taken China, they've taken Japan. Everywhere black people was, Genghis Khan helped to do that. Stalin helped to do that. Stalin murdered millions. The numbers that they're giving you is not real. It's millions more than that, because he had a duty to murder. They couldn't murder that amount of Europeans and still survive. Those are dark skinned people that they were murdering to make way for Europeans. That's why you call them the dark British, because obviously the gene pool was strong. Sorry, the dark Russians, they're darker. They're what they call darker Europeans or whatever they call. There's a name for them. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously the bloodline was strong over there, so the Caucasian created a darker European over there, because anywhere where the African is strong in the bloodline, the European ends up being darker. Their strength is in Europe, where you've got the real pale dark one. So when you see a pale Chinese, all of the children, any train bus line you see, all the Chinese are pale. That means they're all Caucasian. You understand? So that's what's happened to me. My theory and my breakdown, that's what they're doing to all of us. They're breaking us down because they are not from here. Because I don't know how our people who are from here, live here and love here, want to replace the people them who they're supposed to be a part of with robots. You know what I'm saying? How would you want to replace the food with synthetic food?
Yeah, but this is,
why would you want to do that?
I want to put one quick last point, and then the thing is, I was reading an interesting article in The Economist the other day, and they said, and going back to your robot thing, they said, most economists, and this is how I know that economics is not a real subject, it's a pseudo science. They said, this economist guy, and he said that most economists can't explain how economic growth started. They know the indicators of economic growth, and they can tell you when it started, like in England, for example, it started in the 1800s with the Industrial Revolution. But they can't tell you what causes economic growth. And you know the reason why they can't tell you that? Is because they won't include slavery in economics. They won't talk about the fact that the Industrial Revolution was kick-started. And same thing in China. Now China, they had basically a slave labor population. I've seen documents where they uprooted whole villages and made them go live in the city. Whole villages. Made them go live in the city to work in factories. So all these countries, like Russia, the same thing in Stalin, like you said, murdering of people and forcing them to work in this, that and other. All these places where you see massive economic growth over a short space of time, is, as far as I'm concerned, is because of slave labour, whether it's chattel slavery or modern day slavery, it's slavery. So going back to what you said about the robot thing now, that's how they're going to get more economic growth, when they can have people just robots working round the clock, no lunch break.
Remember, because they're doing that now. You've got remember, people can't survive. They put it in illegally. 12-hour days, 18-hour days. People are working right now as we speak.
Exactly.
How are you? And
this is one thing.
So who are these?
I don't blame these old men for not wanting to work.
Right. So what I'm saying,
what are you going to do?
Sorry to cut, but the bigger picture is this. I'm asking, what is it in so-called these people are meant to be human? What is it in this type of human? Because humanity has never been like that across the ages. So you're telling me these are the same people? So I'm saying they're not. They're a different being. If they are not the being, then they're a slave to another being. That's why the monies are disappearing into thin air. Maybe with respect. Maybe there's this connection with the moon, like they talk about the lunatics, and maybe there's a connection with them, their race, and the people that live on the moon or whatever. I don't know. Because remember, this is theory at the moment. But what I do know is that these people are not fully humanized. They're trying to. They're creating.
It goes back to what I was reading a book the other day about Hannibal. I don't know if you know about cartoon. And it goes back to one of the historians said that basically that was a battle to change the course of world history. If Hannibal had won that war against the Romans, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. And I think what happened back in those days was that they saw that these Romans were invaders. They saw that they were coming to take shit. And Hannibal nearly beat them. This was an African thing.
Here I saw something on the internet that said that in some of these wars, they had help from something that wasn't quite of this earth.
Hannibal was a genius, you know. He beat them several times, and all of a sudden, Scipio, Africanus, just managed to go to Africa and beat him on the plains of Damascus. I'm glad you said that, because that makes sense to me now. That makes sense to me.
You see what I'm saying, bro? But this is now what when I'm saying, because the internet opened up and people are starting to put. That's why in some of the pictures they have got interstellar craft in these pictures, and people are saying it's this, that, and the other. But why are they there? You know what I'm saying? And why they'll still?
I mean you, because listen, even their own white people have stopped watching the news now, because it's got so blatant that they're lying and they're chatting shit, that even the middle class white people are turning to the internet, they're turning to alternative media, because they know things. Hang on a second, you need to tell me, like the Gaddafi thing, for example. You've got to be one dumb person to believe that Gaddafi deserved what he got. Even Saddam Hussein, the same thing. They hang Iraq, they hang the man. To this day, Iraq is still fucked.
Everywhere, bruv. Sorry to listen. That pisses me off. Everything that Europeans touch turned to shit. There's nothing that is done for black people anywhere on the planet that people have prospered from, except white people. How on earth can you trust?
Look at what happened, though. These people are so greedy. They're so greedy that they fucked up their own economy. They have to be doing that. had to be built for one of these guns. They had to be built out, and when you check why they had to be built out, it's because of greed.
Yeah,
if they just run the thing properly and earn a little money, they're going to buy up everything. It's not enough to just have a bank. They go own this, the bank go own another bank, go own another bank over here.
Greed. It's not a human need. You see, when they tried to do that to some of the original people of the earth in some of the more quaint places, they couldn't get them to be greedy. So the idea that greed is a human trait is erroneous. It's wrong. It's not the case. If we were as like them,
you know what they do. They go to the Amazon and start giving cigarettes and alcohol.
Yes,
and that is the piss. I see one documentary on BBC Two the other night. It's some tribe thing. You know, these white men go to he went to Indonesia, near Papua New Guinea. And it was black people there, you know. And the first thing he's doing is handing out cigarettes to them. I wanted to snap him through the TV, bro.
Listen to this, though. Listen to this, Mr. C, right? Listen to this. Anything that you see that white people are giving out free, walk past it. The latest thing they were giving out free was the Ribena, the new poisoned Ribena, the new Ribena with the with the sugar. So you see when they because they don't give nothing for free. Only when they're trying to induce you to something that's not going to be good for it. They dash free cocaine in the ghetto. They put guns in the communities of every community across the cities, and then some guy magically runs up on a van full of guns. Yeah, remember they couldn't even afford to buy a 45.
It's true what you're saying.
What are you talking about?
I know a couple man that's got, shall we say, the G word, And this is a country that's supposed to have that lockdown since Don Blaine happened in 96. You're not supposed to have pistols or handguns in this country, so where don't get them from?
Bruv, that's automatic weapons these brothers are picking up that can only come through. Listen, bruv, why would you even want to sell it to the black community? Like I'm saying, remember at the time there was no black community with that type of money. They had to induce that type of money into the community first.
You might have with a man with a chopper, like you know you come from Jamaica and you wrap a little chopper in a club and put it in your suitcase. Maybe even a sauna. Maybe a push, you might have a sauna. Where they come from with these 9mm and
automatic and guns and extended clips and all that kind of stuff. Man, with I saw a picture.
You know the joke. I know of man that's got Mac 10. And the only thing the joke though, they can't even use it because the bullets are hard to get. It's not the guns are hard to get, It's the bullets that man trying to get for the gun, bro. You have the right caliber bullet for the gun, you get me? It's the bullets what man, that's the only thing that man, other than that, it's easy to get things in this country.
But what I'm saying to you though,
you can't rent a gun, bro.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying to you, the rhythm of what happens across the black cities, across the world, it's exactly the same. Exactly the same MO they use every single time to inner city people in places where Europeans live. You understand what I'm saying? So that must mean that it's a plan of assault, whether it's coordinated or not. It's clear that the evidence is there. They taught us about evidence and all that kind of stuff, and then when we try to use the evidence that's available, they want to tell us something. They want to have some free argument. So the point I'm making is that we are on a downward slope as black people because the man them are still looking at girls with big batty, and they're in their 40s and 50s, bruv. And their late 30s. After you hit out your 70s.
The thing that I know is more, sorry to interrupt you. You got big man in there 50 just in like the 18.
But that's why the sun's
wearing tracksuit and hoodie top and
that's
you're not 21, bro.
Bruv, that's
after one brother the other day, you're not 21 years, bro. One big man coffee home wearing tracksuit, bro.
Yeah, but come on, man. It's not the dress wear, it's the attitude.
Where's the picture either? You know when you're going to call you when you see older people, when you're smart, blood. Nice little smart overcoat and have a pair of shoes on. No one is saying you can't wear like a comfortable clothes. Don't get me wrong. But you can't be dressing like you're 50 cent and you're in your 60s. Come on, man.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but the point I'm making, but what I'm saying to you about the retardation of, remember they pulled out the music, they pulled out the funding. They know what they do it. They did it in Harlem. They do it in Jamaica. They need more schooling. They need a system where people go to more schools and not this mad system that they got where people don't see school for years. And you know what I'm saying. So anyway, what I'm saying to you, can you see there's a pattern? So why is there this war? Why is this pattern across the globe for dark-skinned people across the globe? Why is that? That must mean that you have an agenda. So we are a part of that agenda to get rid of us.
They won't let us link up because for the longest time I've wanted to talk to a real untouchable from India. We can't find them. We don't do that. They won't let us link up. You can't find an Aborigine or dark and I think to them, well, like, what's your experience like? As dark-skinned people across the globe. You know what I'm saying? They won't let the keep us separate. So you pay attention to what you're talking about. You're bang on the money, bro, because we can't travel nowhere, and if you do travel, You can't go certain places because you didn't even know where to go. So it's just a madness stuff.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
When you go to a holiday, when I've been on holiday to Egypt and all that, most of the time you get talking to the people, it's always the workers. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that runs Egypt is run by white-skinned people. Yeah, and all the dark-skinned people are the ones that take my baggage. And I'm dark-skinned.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of funny. Like all the dark-skinned people carrying all the baggage and all the low-life, and all the managers and all that, they're white-skinned people. They're funny white, but it's white. It's not like brown. It's a white, more white than it is anything to do with brown.
And check it. Even what you're saying is so true, because they keep talking about human rights and they have to invade Iraq for human rights. They have to invade Libya for Gaddafi taking liberties of its people. But they're enslaving dark-skinned black people in Sudan. And it's pissing me off for years. And even to the point where you have white man going over there to fight for the dark. You have white ex-army man going over there to fight for the dark people because even they knew it was a liberty. And none of the governments are doing nothing about it. And those black Sudanese, as far as I'm concerned, are the original Egyptians. Sorry.
Of course. The point I'm trying to say to you is that it's not a case anymore for me, like you said about the other argument. Like, it's not a case of anymore for me about black people. It's not a case of anymore for me about black people. Black people are the original people of the planet. It doesn't matter whether you want to call yourself African or not. Whether it's Aborigine, whether it's Chinese, whether it's Russian. They are the people. The black Russians wasn't because they were black clothes. It's because there was an actual people that were black. The black samurais wasn't because they were black samurai clothes, because there is none like that. You know what I'm saying? They were black people. You made that up about the black clothes. So the point I'm making is that they've got rid of all the blacks and like the Jews. The original Jews are meant to be Semite, which means that Semite is the word semi, meaning half or something, which means you're basically supposed to be mixed race people.
You can see.
Why are you all white? Why are you?
Even the whitest Jews have the curly hair and the big nose.
That's the mix. That's what's left. But they're mostly Caucasian. They're from they came from Ashkenazi and Sephardic. They're from Russia. The white Russian, the European Russian, not the black Russian. I remember
some of them are the biggest criminals as well. Some of them are the biggest criminals and thieves. The chief man like Mike Tyson, you think he's just going to teach their money? You think Donkey ain't got no Jewish man behind him hanging in the paperwork? Come on, man, listen.
There was a thing on the internet, the other girl, a woman in America, you know, talking to some Jewish man with his kafta, and she said, "Why are you shouting?" She said, "Because you people, remember, this is in America." She said, "You people, you Jewish people, treat our people in our communities like shit." In front of the whole train, and there's people going, "Yeah, it's true, on the train." So,
yeah, but I've worked with these people. One thing I realised over the years, it's just business.
Stop there.
They don't see that they're destroying. They don't see that they're destroying people.
They're not the same race.
Hold on, like the black people that showed themselves over the Windrush thing. They don't see that they're destroying people. It's just business. It's funny to them. They laugh about it in the park.
Absolutely, because they're not.
I've been amongst them where they'll raggle set someone up in their job, run them out their job, and then go out for a drink and remember, you know, they shut someone's life, you know. And it's just people. To them,
right, but what I'm saying that's what I'm saying. That's why the term is. That's why black people can't survive under the capitalistic business. You can't survive. You die, or you become white.
What I've noticed is, I agree with you that what I've noticed is that a lot of black people going into the capitalist system.
Of course, that's going to happen, isn't it, bro? You can't. It's not like we can stop it.
I know we have to learn to change. We have to learn to change.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
The thing what I want to say to you is, in years to come, what do you think is going to happen? Because you've got all of these. This is the question I really want to ask you. You've got all of these black youths that are going to uni. I myself window. You believe in your dream. You believe in equality. You believe that as long as you work hard, you can get somewhere. Now, what you've got now is second, third, fourth generation black people who are more qualified than the working class whites who are used to being in managerial and supervisory roles. And what I've noticed since I started in the workforce is that every white manager I've ever had has always had less qualifications than me. Now, what I want to ask you is that what do you think is going to happen in 10, 15 years time when you've got a flood of black youths who realise, hang on a second, I've got a master's degree, but I'm being managed by someone who ain't even got 5 GCSEs to their name.
It's happening now. It's happening right now.
That's what I'm saying to you. That's what I'm saying to you. It's happening now, but it's going to continue because remember, you know, you've got all the Africans are coming over here, and some of these youths are smart, you know. They're not stupid. Not all of them are
bruv, remember. All right, okay, so I've got the question, right? What are you going to do? You said it's not business. Right, let me just break down it's not business, it's not personal, just quickly. It means that they don't care about humanity, because personal means a human being. Business is a non-moralic It has no morals. It has no ethics. It has nothing. You give it whatever you want to give it. So if you want to murder someone for their business, then that's just business and not personal. So you don't care about slavery was business and not personal. So you murder a whole family, and it because you don't have no humanity in there. You have no morality in there. You have no ethics in there. You understand? Right. So that's why when people say that to me, I'm walking out of that because you obviously either you're stupid or you don't understand what you're talking about. Brother, stop doing them arguments now, because as you said, it's like a level below that it's not point in getting into anymore, right? So you've got that. Now you imagine now what power. I keep saying to people that knowledge isn't power. I've got that argument that I've got going on the internet, and people are still telling me.
I saw your video with that. I saw your video. It was an excellent video.
No matter what I produce, they still but it's not. You got like you dummy. So I'm saying that. What do you think? They are trying to get rid of black people across the globe. Yeah. So, and you know, you've seen what they do when they get vexed. This is the same people that have existed for thousands of years. What do you think?
I think the slightly disagree, and the reason why, I think, you know, when you watch them films, and they murder a whole group of people, but they keep a few of them. Like, say, Smith or something. They might murder a few of them, but they keep a few of them so they can sex them and do the nastiness what they want to do to them. That's how I see it with black people. No. Don't murder us off.
You know why? You know what I would disagree, and my counter argument would be to that is that they don't care. You seem to think that if they said it's not business, it's not personal. Yeah, why would they care? What you're saying? Oh, eventually they're gonna care. They don't care. It's not what they don't care. What they do is they see what is business, and the only reason why we're still alive is because of business. We're not kids because they care about it. So when they get to that point when they no longer
they've got something that person's got something that they need to keep you alive.
That's right. So I'm saying. So if the day is a decade or 100 years or 1,000 years, what I'm saying is this: if their job was to give humanity back itself, there would be more black people on the planet because they are the original human beings, isn't it? So why is there less of them and more of that?
No, but that's what they're scared of, because check it. They are the minority. You're going back
into that old mindset. No, they're not the minority. I just told you how many Chinese are white. I've just told you how many How they're the minority, bruv? They're just not from here. They're not the minority. They're just not from here. They're just everything that we're going to do on earth. We are going to champion. Black people will champion running, jumping, polo, you name it. It's to do with earth. We'll champion it. So the only way they can survive at having something that belongs to them, rowing, is to block black people out of it. Because you name any sport that we're not in, it's because we're blocked out of it, not because we're not in it, because we're not good at it. If we are from here, everything that is from here is in us. We are the hummus of this world. We're made from dust.
I get that. When you bring in the point about the Chinese, I get that, because obviously they are Caucasian.
And so, you know what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to make is, that they don't care about us in that way. That's why they say, you ask any white man, black people get through sports and entertainment, because that's the only avenue they've given us open. You understand? But they won't have a black voting.
I heard you give a lecture one time where you said you wouldn't want your children to look up to a sports person, and I absolutely agree. Don't get me wrong. You can enjoy their talent and enjoy their skill in that moment of time, but to look up to them as a role model, to listen to them in terms of like how you're going to live your life and that.
I wouldn't want my daughter to follow Serena Williams. I wouldn't want that. If they do, that's their business. I'm not saying they can't do that. I'm just saying I wouldn't want that. I never grew them up to look at that as something to have as a rare. Remember, these are people that
Let me ask you a question. Who do you think is a good black role model to look up to? Because again, I said to you before about me and my brother trying to think of one dark-skinned woman who's a famous singer on the same level as Beyonce. We couldn't think of one.
No, there isn't. They stopped doing that. There is none. They stopped doing that Sorry, there isn't any. Can you hear me now? Hello? Yeah. There isn't any. They've blocked. Remember, this is what they do. They block things. When they don't want something anymore, they start to block it. What happened to all the boy band singers? They created the white band singers and blocked the boy band singers. That's what they do. They don't disappear. The black people, when it comes to earth values and earth systems, they are the original people. They're singing the notes, everything that they're copying. We started the twerking, the dancing, the hip hopping, the breaking. They couldn't do it without us. So
where did the name twerking come from? Because I just knew it as dancing.
Yeah, it's white people.
Don't give it this name twerking. I don't use that name, you know. As soon as it doesn't even sound right. It's just a woman. You know how we do it.
I know. We did it for years. years without giving it no name. We give it for years. We did it for decades. Well, at least a decade without giving it a name. They come and they want to copy.
What do they come with this copy?
Because they copy.
That you white women trying to do it on TV. It's like all in a second.
Bro, you see how small it is. So what the point I'm making? This is the point I'm trying to make. People don't seem to understand what it is they're doing. They only gonna copy, like they touch fists. They're only gonna ever copy you. But what I'm saying is that in the meantime, they moved into Harlem, which was a Brixton of America. Now they're moving into Brixton, which is a Brixton of England. They've moved into Kingston, where they created a place called New Kingston. This is a worldwide takeover, bro.
Someone looked in the other day, and I see little white man pumping reggae music out of there. I was like, wow. I'm talking like
best DJ you ever.
White man reaching out. What you're saying is absolutely right, because it's not that they just moved into Brixton. They moved in there and trying to be like a fake black man type of thing.
They will be the next black man. That's what I'm telling you about the mixed race. The mixed race is the gateway to becoming. That's what they do in every culture. They mix race Jews, then it's a gateway to them taking over, because they know that gene is in there.
That's fully true. That's fully true. And again, anyone that listening out there doesn't seem to understand that you need to fucking listen properly and clearly to what X is saying, because this is something that is just logic. If you put a dark-skinned person, right, and they suddenly get less and less, whether they're being killed through the prison system or through drugs or whatever, and all of a sudden you've got this whole heap of light-skinned people who don't look nothing like dark-skinned, they're black. Come on, man. That's extermination. That's genocide. Anybody's imagination.
Right, remember,
and they did the same thing.
Remember, white people have wiped out entire villages of people and tribes, wiped them off the planet. Remember, they're murderers. They kill for fun.
Look at the Arawaks. Look at the Arawaks. You've got not Indians in Jamaica claiming that they're Arawaks. They're not Arawaks. They're Indian.
That's right.
The real Arawaks, because if you look on the coat of arms of Jamaica, where they've got a picture of an Arawak, they've got this Mexican look to them. You know, that kind of aspect. They don't look like they're from Bombay. They're original.
They got that red sand creation. You know what I mean? Like I said to you, it's the different color sands, earth that's here. The black hummus, you see it. So you know what I mean? That's another subject to get into, but I'm just telling you that I don't believe that these people originate here. And I don't believe they serve the purpose of humanity, which is black people, because they've enslaved humanity. If black people are humans, that means that another race has enslaved humanity, doesn't it? Are black people, or are they not humans? Yes or no?
When it goes back to, I listened to one of your shows previously, and goes back to what you were saying, where you see, like, people use the Bible as their source of where we came from. If you look at the ancient Sumerian records, where they talk about how a man and a woman created humans. I think the woman was a scientist, and she used some kind of thing, because they experimented several times.
That's right. Enlil and Enki,
yeah. And you get all these things about, the centaur or horse with a human head, and lion with a human head, because they were experimenting, basically. And when they found the right version of what they wanted to make, that's what they made.
And they put themselves in it. So you think they put themselves in a monkey, do you? Is that what you think? With all, you know what I'm saying? with all the phosphorus, the manganese, and everything that's in the topsoil of Earth, which is what you find the minerals are, is in the human being. You think they used them? That was a monkey, was it? Come, give me. And remember, they said it was after our image. Yes, right. They said that after our image and after our likeness. If you shave off a monkey, it's white underneath. If you leave some white people to grow to themselves like the Greeks and all that, they're hairy, like the Sasquatch. So, and you asked me.
Let me ask you something then. So what is this Neanderthal thing about? Because where the fuck did that? Because they found the bodies. They found the bodies of these. We know they exist.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So to me, go on. Sorry.
No, sorry. I hear what you're saying. I'm saying, it's ridiculous to try and answer all questions at all the times. I'm not sure where they came from. That's what I've always been saying that.
No, I know you know a lot about this shit.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. Remember, I never always knew this, or never always had this theory. So I don't know. I know they come from somewhere, but where? How did they come? Why did some of them? Why did some of them disappear?
They could have done Neanderthals with them.
Yeah,
as part of their
slave race. Yeah, whatever.
The same way they got us.
That's
right. The same way that they got us. They could have done Neanderthals with them, like you are slaves, kind of thing. And just push them to one side when they realise that there's a next set of people that they can manipulate. So you don't know what these people are capable of.
Because remember, they're lying. They're liars. The root of the European mindset is a fork tongue. The native Indians coined that a long time ago. Duplicity. The Africans, even in one of their films, the slave film by Steven Spielberg, he said, we don't know that word, that maybe, and that kind of, you lot. He says that you lot speak with a language that we don't know. Where there's a maybe. We don't have either you do or you don't.
There's actually been studies. Now, it's interesting you said it, but there's actually been studies proven where, especially if African is your first language, when you learn English, there's certain English words that you can't. It's difficult for you to translate. How can I say? To compute in your brain. It's difficult for you to. You know what I'm trying to say? For you to kind of how can I say?
Translate
like
deceptive. It's a deceptive. That's what I'm saying. Like rhetoric. How do you put that in a truthful language? Remember, the original people of the earth. The reason why they were able to be enslaved is because the people that were enslaving them were violent. The Arabs and the Europeans are the same race. You know what I'm saying? They're a violent race of people. The people that they enslaved were humility. Notice the word of Hamas, human, and humility. We are not a violent. The original people weren't a violent race. That's why they lived in paradise on earth. They never knew violence wasn't there. Sorry.
It's like you said about the Pilgrims. I heard you say something about the Pilgrims. The Pilgrims went to America. The Indians saw them starving, brought them through.
That's right. That's humanity.
And they showed them.
That's what. Now tell me, sorry. Quick question.
They've invited me.
Quick question. Out of the two of them, which one's has more humanity? Out of those that two group, the Pilgrims and the Indians, which one showed humanity?
Oh, come on, man. It's Indian.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
The thing is, I've got an American friend and they invite them to Thanksgiving and I never go because even before you said that, I never used to go because there's always something about Thanksgiving. For what? You teach someone country. What do you mean Thanksgiving? I've never understood. Oh man, I'm telling you. And I saw, and the thing is, I know what you're saying is true because I saw an interview with Professor Griff. And Professor Griff said that his dad was a Blackfoot Indian, but what he also said was that his dad was pitch black. And I started thinking, wow, like, I don't want you to think American Indian was light skin because I was confused.
Well,
and when Professor Griff said that his dad was a pitch black Indian, Blackfoot Indian, I was like,
right. You see, and they got pictures of them. It's not like they got, but remember, the white man, the European controls the narrative. That's why, remember, he bought BAT. He bought everything that you own. This is why black man said, I'm going to start a business. If you're using capitalism, he's going to take it from you. Because they have barbarians at the gate. They've got a whole system that can come in and take, like they took the vengeance from the guy who made it up. You know what I mean? They almost, before my boy said it, they were going to take Virgin from Virgin. My boy had to sell his shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. The system, the system is designed for what they call it, barbarians of the gate. Because remember, that's how they sacked Greek. And always like they'll put a plant, a Trojan in your company. And that person who will have shares will start to buy up everybody else's shares, and then at the moment when they make their approach as a group, you don't realize that you don't have the controlling share anymore. That's what they do. So you're not going to have that. Without the point I was going to make earlier on, without separate power like a Gaddafi or something like that, you are not going to be able. You're going to be a slave in this country forever. Because if any of you think that your individual notion of doing stuff is going to help the rest of the world, you're out of your mind. Because as long as the rest of the world is being treated as shit, all you're going to do is live in a little country corner of the world. You know what I mean? Because when you understand?
This is what I'm saying to you. All this stuff, all this makes me sick when I hear them talking about tolerance and democracy.
Yeah.
It's
lie, of course it is.
None of that stuff. None of let me just land on this. All these little use this show. Anyone show. There is no such thing as equality. All you can hope for is that someone treat a white person that you meet, if whether it's in a workplace or whatever, treats you fairly. That's the best you can hope for. That's the best you can. There's no rights that you've got. There's no court that's gonna listen to you and say, oh, this white man called me a nigger or whatever. You're on your own, mate. Trust me. This thing about everybody's got rights. You don't want to be 5 years and you have your stomach, man.
Listen, they were arresting this girl on the beach on the internet. They showed this live picture, and she wouldn't give her name and all that. Because they said that she's underage, but the drink wasn't open, and the guy said, right, I've had enough of this, and grab her and say, she's saying, what do you think I'm like them? You think you can just grab me like them niggers? And they're bleeping her out, you think I'm just one of those niggers that you can, so they know. You know what I'm saying? She knows, so you can't just handle me like you're handling a nigger. That's what she's saying. They know what they're all doing, but they're all quiet. That's what I'm saying to you. That's why when they come and have their own individual arguments, walk them out, because they're only arguing for their individual self. They're trying to make out like the system isn't like this.
And there's no system behind them.
There's a system behind all of them. Yeah.
There's no system behind them. Let me tell you something. Things that I've seen white people get away with, bro. Trust me. Things that I've seen white men get away with. I've seen them get stopped by the police and they're blatantly drunk. and you just put them in the back of the car, let them cool off for a little bit and let them go.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? They might take their keys, you know what I mean, up the car and say, alright, just go back with this, and you know what I'm saying?
And that's not humanity. That's treating the same as the same. That's what they know they're like that. So they know that this is what they suffer from. Because even them police, I've been in a situation where police get the same type of drunkenness. It's not. They're all the same. So I'm saying. So it's not humanity that they're showing. It's not humanity that they're showing. They're just showing that like for like. So that's why the judge. That's
the difference. That's the difference between them and us, though. Because what I know with white people is, the minute you refuse one white person of race, you all fool around that person and protect them.
Of course,
even if they have to make up a lively role, they'll cover up for them. They'll hide shit. It's like a fight against the whole army of people.
But remember,
you know, and it's you one by yourself.
But remember, originally, the only way, every time that we behave like them, our race becomes worse and more debauched and more savage. You understand? Originally, we wouldn't have those. We wouldn't have to lie. We don't do that. We're not. The original people of the planet weren't designed. That's why you could come and have us marching with two of you marching 35 black men. Because they're not designed with that violence.
I wish I was good at lying. I wish I was good at lying, because I would have got away with so much shit in my career. I wish I was a good liar, bro. I wish I could go in. You know them stone face. You know them stone where man will look you bang in your face and lie. And you know, do you remember the one on the internet where the woman called the police on the people that was having a barbecue? I don't know if you've seen that one. A woman calls on the internet. You just type that in on you see it. She calls the police on these black people having a barbecue, saying she don't know. The police come along and then they're saying that it's legal. They've been doing it for years. And then when the police come out, she don't start bawling. I feel so I'm stressed. So the acting. This is what I'm saying. Back to Hollywood. Because their emotions are not real. It's acting, and black people are become more empty inside, and are now acting out emotions instead of feeling them. I've been around. I've been in situations where I've had white managers that'll take me in a room and do some fucked up shit to me. And when I report this thing now and it's out in the public, man will do some Oscar-winning performance. And oh no, I would never do that. I love some Oscar-winning. Well, even you start to believe it, but you start to think to yourself, what did I do? You could literally say, no, man should be with Al Pacino and the man. Man should be with Robert De Niro.
So now, bruv, so I'm telling you,
I wish I could do that.
Bruv, no, I'm trying to tell you, that's what Hollywood is designed for. That's why they give those people so much prestige. It wasn't meant for black people. You understand? They're just in it now. It wasn't meant for that. They give them because they're acting like they're human.
So it's not really a form of entertainment. It's just them practicing.
That's what I'm trying. You might think it's a joke. What I'm saying, I'm telling you.
No.
That's how they learn how to function on this planet. Through that thing.
Flip it. Because even when they're amongst black people, they can act like us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, what you saying, bro? I'm looking for food, you know, fam. Yeah. They got it on lock now. I've seen some performances in my time, you know.
Me too.
And the same, and I've seen situations where the white man, I know certain white men where they'll go amongst black people and you think they want of us. When you catch them behind closed doors, they're calling us niggas.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen some Oscar-winning shit in my time, but I don't think what you're saying is a joke. You know, I know what you're saying is true. Because I've seen it with my own eyes. You will be with them one-on-one and they will do some fucked up shit. And then when you try to expose it now, they will come with some Denzel Washington, Robert De Niro style acting like you start.
Tell me, bro. I'm telling you.
You start to question yourself. Like, hold on a second. Maybe it's my fault. You're a victim. You think to yourself, maybe this is okay. And then it happens again. And then it happens, and you start to think, nah, man.
Listen,
from different people. They can't be the same human being. This is what I know what you're saying to do.
I've experienced it with other people, like even my baby mother's mum when they exposed her. She said some email and they sacked her for it. It was a white woman would have sent it 10 of them and still been in a job, but they needed to get rid of the black woman as a deputy.
I know that happened to.
She started to buy the living. She couldn't. Let me finish. She couldn't believe how white people. Yeah, respect, bro. She couldn't believe how white people. The next DJ's in the house now, so we're gonna have to wonder. She couldn't believe how white people would turn on her. All these people that she went to lunch with and
she thought they were her friends. She thought they were her friends.
Absolutely. What people don't seem to understand is an email is a legal document, even more than a letter.
So you got enough people sending emails that are kind of abusive or kind of rude, not realising that if they take that to the police or to the employers or anybody like that, you're finished, mate. You're finished. So people need to be very, very careful what they send on emails. That's another way that they're looking to catch people with certain things.
Right, yeah.
It's through the email.
Absolutely. But what I'm saying is that I'm just backing up what we just said about what they do. And I mean, we're not talking about, you see, then what happens now is that people start get offended, your brethren who's mixed race and all that. I'm saying we're not talking about you. What you're doing is denying your people. Like, it's like you're saying to me, well, there's a lot of black kids on the street stabbing each other. That doesn't mean it's me. Doesn't mean it's my you. It just means you're telling me what you're observing through the news and through the media. I get that. And I'm saying what I'm observing through history and through the media is that you are a terrible race of people. That you're a violent, aggressive, savage race. You chopped off the Indian's head, you scalped them, and then said it was them that were scalping you. You lie, you burn down your own buildings. 911, they shut it.
I have to call Quintu. I'm not to the thing with you. I have to call Quintu said something. He said that if that man was going out stabbing up Indians and Chinese and even white youths, they solve the problem tomorrow. Yeah. But as long as we're killing each other, it's alright. Yeah. It's alright.
That's why you've got this.
Make man go south and try to blow up some Sikh man or couple Indian man and start cause trouble in their community. I see how fast they make a new tribe and they come up with some new name for some new special police group.
Yeah. That's what they did that with Trident. Trident came and went and did nothing. That's what they live off of us. They parasite off of us as a race. That's what they do. That's how they move. They move along. That's how the economy moves.
And not just and it's everything. It's 360. Our music, our food.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our
economics, our resources, our gold. Our gold, our resources, our air, our sea, everything that they can get, the sea salt, anything that they can find, they leech off of us now.
I would suggest, this is why I have to disagree with you earlier, because I would suggest that even our energy, our cosmic energy, is something that they need and that they feed off of. You know what I'm saying? Because I honestly believe that there's something vampiric or
vampiric about them. Absolutely. That's why they get that. They have all these stories of old that relate to that. So again, remember the caveman story as well. Is that the cave is where you hide from the sun. It has nothing to do with being prehistoric. It's not a prehistoric thing. It's not a prehistoric thing. It's where you are hiding from the sun. So you only came out at night, so that's why, like I said, like the eyes were different to our eyes. You know what I'm saying? And like,
no, it's true. No, it's true what you're saying. Because
do with them was once black and
even it's true what you're saying, because even when you watch them, you watch them little police shows where they're going to the town centre at night time, and it's pure white man running around in a night time all drunk and fighting, and you don't see them thing in Jamaica. But fair enough, we got our problem. You don't see Jamaica man going to Rumba and it's 200 people in the middle of the town square at night time just to fight each other over foolishness and falling on the ground.
But when we do it, but bruv, remember they have riots in their town centres, and like when you do it in the white town centre as black people, you can't. That club gets shut down. But they'll have it every week in their town. I remember watching the show that every week there was almost a mini riot outside the club, and the club still kept its license. It's still going on because it's white people.
So you go to them little towns like Northampton or one of them towns like York or somewhere, one of them places, but the police will tell you as well, like, they know, you know what I'm saying, that's a job, like, all white man and all them something there, because
it's not a case
like what you said, sorry, it might be something to do with the moon and these lunatics, because as soon as night time come on, them have two sip of pint.
Remember the werewolf, the moon, the lunatic, and the lunatics meaning you're mad, and I believe, but that's like, until we can get into in another stage or another state for we don't know, but these are theories. So the point I'm making is that what I'm trying to bring to people's attention is not the fact that, because we can't do nothing about it, what I'm saying is they call this woke rubbish that they keep saying. I'm saying you have no idea what's going on the planet. This idea that you become conscious.
Socrates said that the one thing that he doesn't know is that he knows nothing. The one thing that he knows, the one thing that he knows is that he knows nothing. He always used to preach that.
I'm saying to no matter how long you live, that's why I don't understand. A man sending me big batty picture girls. I said, don't send me that, bruv. I'm a big rocks man. And I'm like, don't send me that, because what do you think I am? How old do you think I am? And how many girls, or women that you think I know? Don't send me that, because that makes me like, listen to you. I'm not you.
What it is. Remember, for the last 10, 15 years, she put videos with these big batty pictures. So you've got man that's grown up watching that.
And still on it.
That's all they're obsessed with.
But why I'm telling you about a retardation of our community. Why is it that a big man is focusing on the size of, and you've got big grown kids, bro? I'm not saying you can't go artistically, but these guys are focused on these guys. They want strip clubs. They're like white people. The only people that used to frequent these places more than so was that type of being, and we copied them, and now we are them. So I'm saying, well, what do you think is in our future? Death. And you know, the elimination of the black or human beings as a species.
I agree.
That's what
like you just said, rightly so. Like you just said, rightly so. We can't do anything. And the thing is, what I think
at this moment,
people are focusing on things that they've got no control over, and in the do have control over, they're not focusing on. So things like their children, for example. Things what you just said about the big batty scene, for example. We're not focusing on that. Everything just about Illuminati and talk about I don't know. The royal family and lizards and shapeshifters, that's way above your pay grade, Mr. Rastaman down the road. It's way above your, you're focusing on your 10 kids that you know what I'm trying to say though, people focusing on the wrong thing. So,
even their education is shit. You know, you got Mayweather with millions upon double, triple millions, and none of his children have got any sense. They're just normal, everyday kids. What are you doing with so much money and your kids are regular thinkers? Shouldn't you be on a level where they're going there, they're studying law, or they're studying, surgeon or something like the whole neck? Look how much money you got, and all you can do is use it as paper to line up on your. You're a dummy, bruv, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. That having money doesn't make you someone. Genes doesn't make you someone.
But they soon gonna come with the money's not even gonna be worth nothing. That's why enough of the rich people that are in the know. They've got their gold and their platinum and their God knows what stashed away. The paper money that people are running up and down and cleaning up the millionaires, like you said in previous shows, if they cause a recession or they decide that they're going to fuck up the money markets and the foreign exchange market, your paper ain't worth shit, because remember that it's a fiat currency at the end of the day. So only real wealth is hard assets like property, gold, diamonds, them sort of thing that you can actually have a
absolutely. No, I'm saying you're right. I'm with you. See what I'm saying? But people are not seeing that in that end game, in that terminology, because they think white people are going to be good to them. They've got internment camps built up. They've already bombed Nagasaki. They've already murdered the Jews. They're not people. You're talking about if I was a criminal, you say this is my history. If that person was that, you say, well, look at your past. Look at their past. They're not forgiving people.
What you're saying is the truth. Because what I've noticed from studying history, it always goes around in cycles. Everything is repeated. So the same way they murdered the Jews in the concentration camps, what you were saying earlier on about black people's faces going to be on their face in the ghetto, they'll soon round up and put us in the camp same way.
I know people think this is impossible. They think, no. They think it's impossible. You got my little white girlfriend. They think it's impossible. When they are ready, they are a cold-blooded people. The only reason why they ain't doing nothing is because they don't need to do nothing. But you make them have a need to do something. And look what they done. Would you have thought when you was a youth man coming up, or even 10 years ago, that they'd have a president that chats so much shit and could talk the way that he talked? Do you believe that would even ever exist? But now it's a reality to you. It's like it's normal. That would be a nightmare, 20 years ago, you to think that they could have a president could call people's country shit and all that kind of stuff. It's a shithole. How can a president say a man's country's a shithole? So I'm telling you, anything can happen in white people's world when they want it to happen. So if they decide that black people they decide
they are capable of anything at any time.
They murdered us.
And like you said in previous shows with the Tulsa thing, I bet the black people in Tulsa, I bet they weren't expecting white.
You see it. Right.
No, but check it though. Man, wake up in the morning, open up their business. Next thing you know, you hear some noise, bag of noise come down the road. You see white man with bare guns and shit.
Looting. Remember, the first looters were the white man in Tulsa. Black people had never looted before. They saw white people loot. That's where they got it from. Black people had never done drive-bys before. They saw white people drive-bys. They had never had pimps or prostitutes in their history before. They said white people with pimps and prostitutes. Are you mad? These are not a good
one quick thing I wanted to ask you before I go. One quick thing, because you're talking about the mixing thing. What do you think with the royal wedding? And what do you think that there's a sinister motive behind that, or is it just a thing where Harry just saw a face mixing?
Well, she's still when they check the lineage, they have to check her lineage. She's a 40th cousin. She's a 40th cousin. So she's probably part of the bloodline. She's probably part of the bloodline. Probably they've done. If you look up the lineage of her.
Obama was a real. They found out that he was related to the
every president of America has been related to, apart from Trump, who's Scottish.
Yeah, I heard that.
It's not hearings, you know. These are facts.
Except JFK, was the only one who wasn't part of the bloodline. That's why they killed him.
Well, there you have it. You know what I'm saying? But I think, as I understood it, he was as well. But I'll have to look.
Yeah, he was brilliant. They even reported it in the paper, but it was like some little small square thing where they said, "Oh, by the way, Obama's second great grandfather son by his cousin's mum was into the prison or something."
Yeah, but remember, his mum was English. His mum was high class English. She wasn't poor English. She wasn't like some working class English. She was upper middle class English. You know, and his dad was like, he was a studying so they. You talking about
Harry's wife or Obama's mum?
Obama's mum. Sorry, Obama's mum.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, she was very intelligent apparently. She was a working class.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So at the bottom, again, what I'm saying to you is that this is what they're doing. It's I don't know. I can't tell you it's a plan because I don't know who the people are planning it. But what I can tell you is the methodology that you can see happening across the earth. Across the planet Earth, what they're doing to Aborigine people and native people, who are the original people of the planet.
Sorry to interrupt, but that's the thing. This is what I took from a man like you, because it's absolutely true what you're saying. Because going back to what you said about knowledge is not the same thing as power. Now you just proven that you've got a lot of knowledge which cannot be argued with. But we don't have the power to change anything. We know what these people are up to.
You see,
so I'm trying to say? So it's men like you that break shit down, because before I saw that video, I would have agreed with that statement that knowledge is power, and you can just, if you know something, then that's power. And then when I saw the video, I was like, X just blew my mind with that. Because we know some shit, but have we got the power to change what they're doing? No. So absolutely.
We understand that. But you see, if we become more human and less like them, and stop taking up their traits and their ways of thinking, then I think that's why I talk these narratives. That's when you stand a chance. Because remember what I said back in the day when I used to play all the English music? I said the day you not stop copying American language and going, I like that. Do you remember that? And look at it now. Remember what I said? And I said that's when you get respect.
I remember, the reason why I remember it is because at the time, Troy said there was a talent show, and I actually went to it. And I remember you came on the radio, I think it was a couple of weeks after, and you won the whole of Troy thing about the fact that they had these talent shows, they all sound like they're American. Once they win the show, you never see nothing from them again, and you cracked me up because you said to me the ticket cost £10. Bro, I've
got to go. You just came right in on the thingy, Bob.
Yeah. No worries, man. No worries. Good to talk to you, man. Good to talk to you,
bro. Big respect. Thanks for calling in and everything, man.
Made
a nice evening, bro. Yeah, nice one. Yeah, take good care. Right, we've got the next DJ coming up. He's sitting. What is it? Riggs. I said classic. Riggs coming up. Yeah, sorry about that, Riggs. And he's sitting there waiting patiently, and the what's name just come on. So we just went right into that. Thanks a lot for that, Mr. C. That's not his real name, but he just started to give me that name. I got another caller coming in. I know you probably waited a long time, but it can't be done. I'm sorry. I am really sorry. Do excuse me. Next year, remember I told you that it seemed like the show's jinxed. Again, we started late, but this wasn't my fault this time. It was we couldn't get in and one bugger thing. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully on the thanks, Riggs, because he just was waiting there patiently, and I didn't even realise that. The next one is the first Sunday of July. The 1st of July will be the next show. In the meantime, look out for one I might be doing next week on my internet, on my Facebook page or whatever. Big thanks to Colin. Thanks for that, Colin, the dash cam situation, but I didn't have a chance to get into it. You know what I'm saying? That he's saying it was a dash cam that was on that filmed the boy with the big old knife. You know what I'm saying? But again, there's something to get into. But I'm just saying that was great, and it was just something to be that car in front of the guy to film the guy at the moment that the guy was doing something. That's absolutely one in a billion. But anyway, so I'm gone. Riggs is in now because I got a couple of girls listening after I come over and say Riggs play some nice music. So he's got a little props going on there, bruv. You know what I'm saying? So big respect to everybody. What do I press now, Riggs? So do I press this? Big respect to everybody. I say good night. You're in tune to Riggs from now till 8 o'clock. And he's got some good music playing. So if you like nice soul and classic R&B or rap R&B, he's the man. Peace. That's not him, by the way, but he'll be on. He's just setting up. Thank you.
It's Ras chosen.